What's up, folks? Hope everybody's having a good Friday. We're going to be on the backup account today.
Can you turn it down a little bit for me?
Oh, well, that's because Bert turned you up. Yeah, Bert turned you up because your volume was not where I left it.
Look at him in the background. Look at all suspicious. How do you get in here? Don't hurt him.
Who let the trolls out? Who let the trolls out? Who let the trolls out? Who let the trolls out?
I got new shoes too. We're going to see if it's better for my back and hips.
Sir, this is a panel, not a cry for help. Who let the trolls out? 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 Say a troll ain't nothing if he ain't got a grievance. Or Charlie wave the grievance. Or Charlie wave it. A troll ain't nothing if he ain't got a grievance. Or Charlie wave the grievance. Who let the trolls out? 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 He's got a mortgage and he's doing this. Peak performance from a person with a
bedtime.
That's a whole biography of choices. Somebody loved this man and look what happened. Who let the trolls out? 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 Yippee-yi-yo! Who let the trolls out? Yippee-yi-yo! Yippee-yi-yo! Who let the trolls out? Yippee-yi-yo! Yippee-yi-yo! Who let the trolls out? Yippee-yi-yo! Yippee-yi-yo!
Damn, I wanted the song to keep going. I was having fun with it. What's up, everybody? Hope everybody is having a good Friday. Please make sure you're smashing the like button, sharing live, doing the things that you need to do. If you're watching on TikTok, you need to start smashing the live button because we got our primary account has been banned because I said a naughty word. Again, words are bad. Can't say certain words nowadays. Sounds that come out of our face are illegal. They're illegal, ladies and gentlemen. The sounds that come out of our face are illegal. So yeah, make sure that you're smashing the like button. My main account will be back next week. Hopefully. We'll see. Who cares? It's all in God's hands anyways. It's all in God's hands anyways. But yeah, make sure you smash the like button over there because we're going to see what happens. Honestly, good shoes are so essential. I bought the ones from Hoka and they make me feel much better when I'm walking around. Hoka! Holy money bags. Calm down. Calm down. Flexing on us a pair of Hoka shoes. I was looking at Hoka shoes, but my God, they're too expensive and ugly. Those are not a good combination. I wanted something that looked good too. I got a pair of Skechers. And I'm hoping those will help quite a bit. I really spent a lot of time looking at shoes and reading reviews. This one had great reviews. It had a great look to it. I was like, okay, we'll see. But I'm not right now, just like the first 5 minutes wearing them, it's not the best. Yeah, we're all going to call you by your YouTube names. You guys don't have real names. Don't Skechers have a lifetime warranty? I don't know. What size is my foot? I'll send you a pair of J's. For real? I got a size 12.
You got
pair
big feet.
of J's, yeah. Size 12.
Big feet.
Yeah. It's hard to find shoes because I go into stores. I found a bunch of shoes I liked in stores and I'm like, we don't have your size. I'm like, great. I'll order it online, I guess.
Yeah, you can't get shoes from Walmart.
No. Yes, they are IAMs. Yep. The Area 2s. They were a gift from Funky. For the boys, I could probably play Dark Tide to like 10 or 11, depending on when my wifey falls asleep. My wife is leaving me today, so I'll have time.
I am. Yeah.
I'll have time. Well, I got some work I got to do, but You got a pair of 12s? That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Although Jordans,
just
Jordans are just style, though.
We're just going to give everybody our address, I guess.
Jordans are just style. I trust Fresh.
I know. I do too. I'm just kidding.
Somebody sent us something, and we don't know what it is. We have to go pick it up on Monday.
We got a slip.
Yeah. I didn't order anything extra, neither did
John
Abby.
has to go in with his ID
and
pick it up. We don't know what it is. Ooh.
Oh, Forza Comfort and Style. Well, I'll try them out, man. I appreciate you, bro. You just got extra J's kicking around? That's crazy. Are they real? The second I removed my name from the Discord profile, I was referred to as modern again. You listen, the way you introduce yourself to people is the way that people remember you. So that's just how it goes. I learned this when I was a rapper. When I went on tour, I introduced myself to all the rappers with my official name, not my rap name, which I will never tell you guys. And so they just all called me by my name. And then my name became my rap name, and my rap name disappeared. But yeah, that's what happened. So yeah, when you introduce yourself to people under a certain name, that is the name they know you by. That is the name you know you by. All right, folks, today we are doing the same topic we do as usual. Convince me to stop worshiping Jesus, win a taco. Again, if you're watching on TikTok, we might have to make it up to like 30,000 likes because, again, our main account got bad, so we're using the backup today, which means the algorithm is not going to be our friend. Abby, you can open up the shorts chat. Oh, no, hold on. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the blessings. Walk with us. Be present with us. Allow for good conversations. If we're not to have good ones, give us the strength to strike down the bad ones. In Jesus' name, amen. Name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. All right, now you can open up the shorts chat.
They're sending us out to the comment section, into the trenches with no protection, where reason dies and chaos reigns. The shorts chat battlefield where nothing remains.
And
we march into the spam and the bots.
Yeah, we don't pray with them heathens.
Rot takes everyone we've got.
Did you put creatine in this coffee?
No, I forgot.
No, it's all good.
This is where
is it a good taco? You order the taco. I pay for it.
We're going to the shorts chat where souls go to die. Moderating madness.
What's up, bro?
Saying our last goodbye.
No spamming, no vulgarity, no blasphemy, and no cap locks. But hold on. Let's touch on the blasphemy. Somebody lightly talking about like how they don't like Christianity or they don't like Jesus is not blasphemy. But somebody spamming like, Jesus is like doing homosexual things with Muhammad or whatever, that would be like blasphemy. So like try to find the line of just like somebody just being a heathen versus like committing like full on blasphemy.
Yeah.
Systematically destroyed. We tried to bring order to the storm, but the algorithm doesn't conform. 3-word sentences, no punctuation. I
never look at chat. That's correct. That's correct. I never look at chat. Abby does, and we are big advocates of free speech here. We're big advocates of free speech. Just because you say things that hurt my feelings and make me sad doesn't mean you shouldn't have the right to say it.
Like, the jokes, the Jesus jokes where you're like, oh, that one, those can go.
There's a certain line where it's like, I'm not going to let that slide because I don't want to get smited by the Lord.
Yeah.
Did you have a recent debate with Dean? I encourage chat to bully you. Oh.
We gave our sanity for the cause, fighting through TikTok's endless flaws. Tell our family.
Thank you so much. I wish I could turn down the music, but I would also turn down your super chat.
One more notification, one more reply.
We'll miss you.
We went to the shorts chat where souls go to die. Moderating madness, no one heard our cry. No reinforcements, we didn't make it back. Lost in the shorts chat.
I'm hyped. I'm ready for war.
Faded to black.
I'm full of testosterone. Ready to fight. The $10 I owe you giving dollars to Fresh to buy Dark Tide. Not have to buy someone else Dark Tide. We're just passing around. Yeah, it's like the Three Stooges. You ever see that? Where it's like, he's like, hey, you owe me $10. And then by the end, they all paid each other off and the same guy has the same $10 in his pocket. Looking battle ready? Feeling battle ready. Am I okay? Probably not. Probably not. I requested. I know. Congratulations. We're still waiting for that 20,000 likes.
You're on the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. John, I fell into sin. Please pray for me, guys. Just stop doing it. Listen, hey, next time you fall into sin, come over. I'll beat the crap out of you. And we'll see if you keep sinning. How about that? How about that? Pray for you. Pray for you. How about a good old fashioned one too? A whooping. A whooping. A whooping. Where does Jesus tell you to worship him? He doesn't. You ever see that scene in Game of Thrones? A man who has to say he's a king is no king at all. Based.
Did somebody say that? Or?
No, they said, when does Jesus say worship him? A man who has to say he's a king is no king at all. You just know. For Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, my friends. Could God be evil and not know? Is there anything or anyone good who wants to be worshipped? God could be evil, but it would change all the ontological aspects of what we understand God. He'd be a completely different being, and there would still be problems of like what the first cause was. Does God have a God? Wow, no one ever thought of that one. No one ever thought that one. I think Dark Tide comes from Warhammer. It does, yes. What made me switch? I want to oppress people, and it just seemed like the best way to do it. And money and women. They told you if you want to make a lot of money and you want to get a lot of women, become a Christian apologist online. And that's the best way to do it. That is the best way to do it, apparently. So that I'm still waiting for both. But what?
Do I not exist?
Women. Plural.
Oh, plural?
Yeah.
You don't need multiple women.
What? Why not?
That seems like a lot of work.
Why not? Why not? Multiple wives up in his house, right? And go all Muslim. Give me. Remember, Abby. A man with one woman is loyal, but a man with three women or four women is three times as loyal. That was so stupid. That was so stupid. 3 times as loyal. That was crazy. And by that logic, a man with 100 women is 100 times more loyal.
Caleb said his grandfather had a heart attack last night. I could pray for his grandfather.
Lord, look out for Caleb's grandfather. Make sure that he's taken care of by the health professionals and give him common grace. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right. We still need 20,000 likes on TikTok. I need you guys' help because it's going to be dead today. It's going to be dead today. Multiple wife adultery. What are we going? Islam? Yeah, well, listen. David had multiple wives. Why can't I? Huh? That's the whole point, right? The real point. Oh my God. We finished House of David last night, the 2nd season.
It was epic.
It was epic. It was epic. I'm not proud. I cried. Not proud.
It was very emotional.
It was. Yep. It was. And they found a way, and I'm not going to tell you guys how, but they found a way to give us the gospel. And that's the beautiful thing is the gospel exists through the whole damn Bible. The whole damn Bible. I haven't seen the 2nd season yet. It's so good. You need to watch it.
It's way better than the first.
It's way better.
Way better.
Like I said to Abby, I feel like we're watching Lord of the Rings, right? When you watch the first movie of Lord of the Rings, it's good, but it's slow. It's a build up. The whole first movie is just building up to the 2nd movie, but it's good.
Yeah.
And then you get into the 2 towers. And that's what I felt like happened is we watched the first season. First season was just a build up into the 2nd season, just setting the stage. And then the 2nd season, they just really drove everything home. And my goodness gracious. And the ending, I'm going to give a little bit of spoiler here. Little bit of a spoiler. So fair warning, if you don't want to hear it, mute for like 15 seconds. Guy goes up to another guy. I have many men with me. The other guy says, I have but one, and he is enough. And I was just like, my goodness. And granted, I'm not delivering, but the way it's delivered in the movie. And if you know, you know. I tried to be vague so that way you guys could like, if you were listening, wasn't too much of a spoiler. But my goodness gracious. It was great. Just a reminder, Divine Order had a debate with Dean Withers, like a professional, official debate. Like, is it, or did he just go up on his channel? Mm-hmm. Did he just go up there? Hey, I'm actually hungry. Give me some tacos. Go get your own damn taco. It's on his YouTube. I didn't even know he had a YouTube. He only started, and if he has a YouTube, he only started it because I told him to start a YouTube. He's all on TikTok. I messaged him like, you need to start a YouTube and get that going. It's kind of funny. All these people out there doing apologetics, all of them following in my footsteps. All of them. I was one of the first that started doing YouTube and TikTok debates. I was one of the first who started doing TikTok debates. And then they just start coming up. Next thing you know, and then I was one of the first who used VDO, and I was one of the first, and they just start following. And then I get phone calls. How do you set this up? And blah, blah, blah. And then I'm setting it up for them. It's kind of crazy. It's me saying, hey, you should start a YouTube. That's where you got to go. And then they're on YouTube. I'm just saying, I want my residual for all this effort that we put in for them. Dean looked like he was someone else's live while he spoke to Divine Order. Really? Yeah, we're all copying you, John. My favorite, though, is when people start coming up and giving arguments that I invented. That's my favorite. When they start going, and then there's like an argument that I came up with myself and they start using it. And then I see other like apologists developing arguments against it. Like the whole historic thing, that approach, that's uniquely me. Like, to not that I invented the argument, but that the fact that people use it on TikTok, no one else uses it on. They're all using like these 5 ways arguments, and those. I'm the one that's using Jesus Christ died on the cross. That's my argument. And the next thing you know, well, okay, fine, Jesus died and resurrected on the cross, but it was aliens. I seen that started coming up as a response. John, if you keep making Hangout streams members only after they're finished, I'm going to have to become a member. Actually, no, you should become a member of the website, BigJohnSteele.com. BigJohnSteele.com gets access to all that content, and you can choose what you want to support, and we get more of a cut, right? YouTube takes 30%. The website I have, the supporting service, only takes 5%. They only take 5%. So if you want to support and get access to that content, go to BigJohnSteele.com. That's the place to do it for sure. We will be uploading yesterday's video up there after this live. We should be doing it sooner. I'm going to try to get on that for you guys, but I have ADHD brain, so. What are we at? We're at 14,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Get to work. You got to get smashing them like buttons. I need your work. I need your help before we start taking guests. I need your help. YouTube taking 30% is insane. I don't actually think that is too insane. Now, granted, I need to make a little bit more income in my life because everybody's taking percentages. So that's why we decided to do our own website. But them taking 30% is not the end of the world, because on the same note, they provide the platform which I can make the 70%. Yes, I had to do that in my head. Yeah, so if it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't be able to take the 70% or get the 70%. So I actually think it's a very fair split, because if they didn't have the platform, they didn't provide it, I wouldn't be able to do it at all. So I think 70-30 is pretty good. But the fact that, in Canada, it's like, okay, YouTube takes 30%. So then I get the money off of that. And then for a while, I was paying American taxes as well. But then I filed some forms, and then I no longer pay the American taxes. So YouTube takes 30%. Then I get the income. And then the Canadian government takes 30%. So I lose that. And then, of course, we have other taxes. Like we have, housing taxes, and we have food taxes, and everything you buy in Canada has taxes on it. So by the time, like, you guys give me $1, what we put in the bank account is like 40 cents, maybe 30 cents. So that's the crazy thing. By the time it passes everybody's hands and we get our cut, we get 30 cents, something like that. What's Bert's cut? Well, whatever his food and litter costs, that's his cut. And
treats.
This is coming from a person who pays 2 kinds of property tax. Property tax is wild, bro. My mind blew when I found out that you didn't pay just property tax once, that you had to pay it ongoing forever. I was like, what? I'm like, I bought the house. Why do I have to pay it again? I literally had a conversation with somebody on the phone, and they're like, oh, dear sweetheart. Oh my goodness gracious. You didn't know? It was such a sad. I'm like, why are you guys sending me a bill for property tax? We paid the property tax when we bought the house. And they're like, oh, darling, sweetheart. Oh. And it's like, oh, okay. Yep, property tax. I'm going to owe you money on my house forever because reasons. Property tax is crazy. So a lot of taxes I'm okay with, right? Obviously, there has to be a way to build the roads and have medical care and all these types of things. But property tax is a wild thing. You live in this place. You've paid it off. You still have to pay us money for living there. Why? No reason. They don't maintain your property. You have to maintain your own property. No reason. No reason.
Well, the property tax is what pays for like the garbage and the like. They listed it when they
Really? That pays for, okay, so it costs us hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars a year to have some fat guy come over and pick up our garbage and throw it in the back of his truck and then not take it 90% of the time because he saw a freaking toothpick where a toothpick shouldn't be. I
didn't say only garbage.
That's what we're paying thousands of dollars for? Huh?
Calm down.
Huh? We're paying thousands of dollars some fat dude to go, I'm not taking that bag because there's a toothpick in that one. No, you didn't put the toothpick in the toothpick bag, so that bag's not getting taken. It's sitting right there until next month. That's what's happening. Yeah, it's totally worth it. What are we at for likes? 19,000 likes. We're almost there, guys.
Almost there.
Almost there. Isn't that the guy who got schooled on Jubilee by Alex O'Connor? Absolutely. That is me. 100%. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You have a couple of super chats.
Okay.
Don't read that one yet.
What happened?
It's to correct a typo in the first one.
Good morning. Why does Marxist tea taste terrible? Because all proper tea is theft. With the extra space here are some more likes. Because all proper tea is that took me a while. I got it. And then tea, not tie. All proper tea is theft. I get it. So Marxists don't think that you should own your own property, that should be divided by everybody, and so all property is theft. Oh, get it? Yeah. Get it? Yeah. 20,000 likes. Oh, but that means I actually have to talk to people. Oh my God. You listen.
Somebody said his dyslexia fixed the typo. It's so true.
Oh my goodness.
That was good.
That was. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Good, 19.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Oh, well, first I want to ask, like, what would stop you from doing that?
What?
What would stop you from doing that?
You can convince me that he isn't who he says he is, or you can give me like an inductive or deductive argument that shows the likelihood that God exists is so low that it'd be irrational to hold it. There's lots of different ways you could do it.
I'd go with the God route. I'd say if you can't prove that he exists, then it's irrational. If you can't prove he exists using logical reasoning and evidence, then it's irrational to hold this belief.
It's okay. What's your argument?
I'd say there's not much logical reasoning or evidence to support the claim that God exists.
So your argument is I'm not convinced?
My argument is there isn't enough to claim this is true.
Yes, so your argument is I'm not convinced.
Okay, well, sure. If your goal is to like convince me or something, then sure.
My goal is not to convince you. The topic is convince me to stop worshiping Jesus, right? That's the topic. But you're trying to shift it to a topic where I'm to convince you that God exists.
Yeah, but it's like if you believe that Thanos gave you the divine command to do this one thing, then you can't prove that Thanos actually exists, and your grounding for your beliefs is
right. But the topic is you are to convince me that God doesn't exist, that Jesus doesn't exist. But you're trying to shift the burden, so I have to convince you that he does exist, right? You're just saying there is no evidence, there is no reason to believe it.
Yeah,
make the argument for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, what's the argument for
that? The reasoning is that there's not enough evidence or logical reasoning to believe that.
That's a conclusion. That's a conclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why should I accept your conclusion?
I mean, if you accept that we should go by logical reasoning and evidence to prove things is true, say you should go by that reasoning.
That's just a conclusion. You understand conclusions are not arguments, right? You're the topic again. You came up, you clicked join when it says convince me to stop worshiping Jesus. And your answer to convincing me is I'm not convinced. Okay, congratulations.
Yeah, but we use logical reasoning and evidence to prove claims is true.
I agree.
So,
your claim here is God doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So use logical reasoning and evidence to prove your claim.
The reasoning is that since there's no logical reasoning or evidence to prove that he is real, then it's illogical to believe in it.
Okay. Substantiated.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
substantiate how there is no logical reasoning or evidence to prove that God exists.
Well, the belief that God exists would defy like laws of physics. First of all, if he existed like in the physical reality.
Okay, cool. So, all right, are the laws of physics descriptive or prescriptive?
Define what you mean by descriptive and prescriptive.
A descriptive is describing something, right? Like I'm just like this pencil, right? It is, it's like that's 12 inches, right?
Sure.
Okay, so this pen is 12 inches. It's black. It's got black ink inside. It's cracked. So that's a description, right? It doesn't tell me what to do in life. I'm just describing it when I'm looking at it. A prescription is something that ought to be, that the way it has to be. It's telling you what to do in life. So like laws are prescribed to you. If you break a law, there's going to be a consequence.
Yeah, I'd say physical laws are like prescribed. Like they don't just exist because we say they exist. They like actually exist in real life.
No, that's not what that means, bro. Yeah, so you're saying that the laws of nature are prescribed to us. Like if we find something that breaks our understanding of the laws of nature, we have to say that that's wrong.
No, like I'd say that they actually exist and they affect us.
Yeah, I'm not saying they don't exist. What I'm saying is that they're not. They're when we talk about the laws of nature, it's a description. It's not a prescription.
Yeah, it's describing what is already there.
Yeah, so you can't say something breaks the laws of nature because you can't break a description.
Well, if I were to say that I can fly, that means I would be breaking the laws of physics. If I could just fly.
So here's the thing: if you say you can fly, and then I walk over and I actually watch you jump into the air and fly through the air and fly around, and we can't find any other reason except you're just flying and you have the ability to do that. Do I say nope, that didn't happen because it breaks the laws of nature, or do I update my understanding of the laws of nature?
Well, this is contingent on like me being in this physical body and not having the like ability to like
Doc,
fly, like not having a jetpack or anything.
Can you answer the question?
I'm saying if I'm able to fly, like without any you're
not answering the question. I'll try to ask it again and see if you can answer it. If I walk over to your house, if I walk over to your house and I see you, right, just get up and fly through the air with no extra added things onto you. Don't change my analogy. Don't make it different. This is the analogy. You get up and start flying through the air, and for all intents and purposes, we have zero like explanation of like an illusion or a lie. It just seems like you have the ability to fly. We do a whole bunch of tests on you, right? We do the scientific method. It's testable and repeatable. Every time we ask you, you can get up and fly, right? Would we say, no, you can't do that because you're breaking the laws of nature? Or would we update our understanding of the laws of nature?
We'd update.
We would update. Okay, so you can't say something breaks the laws of nature, therefore it can't be true. That just doesn't logically follow.
Well, would that break the laws of physics?
No, because we would see it, so therefore we'd have to update our understanding of the laws of physics.
But it's not going to happen.
Oh my
That's what the laws of physics are there for. Things that.
So then the laws of physics are the laws of physics are prescriptive. So if I see you get up in the air and I fly around, I have to say, nope, that can't happen because the laws of physics says it can't happen.
But this argument is arbitrary because it didn't happen.
It's not arbitrary. This is a reductio, right? We reduce to absurdity and see if you're consistent.
Like based on this worldview, then like we can't say anything is not possible.
Correct.
Yeah, but like for all intents and purposes, we need to like describe things, like have truth and false, but we need to like rest on axioms.
Yeah, there are things that we have that are true and false, but yeah, unless something is logically contradictory, it's possible.
Yeah, I'm saying that's just like semantics because it has no grounding.
That's not what semantics is. Define semantics. Everybody throws around the word semantics, has no clue what it means. What do you think that word means? You're Googling it. I can see you Googling it.
Yeah, I know it appeals to like words and definitions, but like I'm using it like
Semantics
because I don't
is
have the
defining
other
words
word.
and definitions. That's not what we're doing here. We weren't defining
Because I
words and
don't have the
definitions.
other word to like you know what I mean, but like I don't have the other word to describe what you know what I mean.
What?
Like you know what I mean, but I don't have the
I have no
exact
clue what you
word
mean.
for it.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
I'm basically saying there's no substance to this claim. Like it doesn't serve any purpose to the argument.
To what claim? I'm not making a claim.
But you said that if like I fly and
I'm testing your worldview. You're saying the laws of nature are prescriptive. You have to obey them. And so I give you a scenario which breaks your understanding of the laws of nature. And you'd say, well, I'd update my understanding, which means they're not prescriptive. They're descriptive. It's testing your worldview.
And we haven't seen that in God. So what would be the purpose of this worldview?
Because you said God can't exist because it breaks the laws of nature.
Yeah, because if God exists and he breaks the laws of physics, then that breaks the evidence and logical reasoning that we use.
Right. So if you stay, I'm going to kick you after this if you don't want to stay consistent. If you stay consistent with your logic, everything that you see that breaks our understanding of the laws of nature, you have to deny exists.
So we haven't seen God though.
Right. So you can't just say he doesn't exist because he breaks the laws of nature, because things like quantum mechanics broke our understanding of the laws of nature, right? The things of looking back towards the center of the universe and finding bigger galaxies broke our understanding of the laws of nature. We had to go back to the writing board. So you can't say God doesn't exist because he breaks our current understanding of the laws of nature, because if we discover God, if we discover God, we would just have to update our understanding of the laws of nature.
So you're saying if we can't prove that he's 100% not real, we can't just say he's not real.
I never said that. I appreciate your time. Come back again when you can make a proper
what you're saying,
argument.
though.
No, I did not.
Oh my days, bro! My days, gonna kick me.
Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead.
110%. Let's try again. Hello. How are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
24. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
I'm not sure, but I'll try.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm curious. I have a couple questions. Like, what do you do for a living? Maybe
This.
I could appeal to that. Oh yeah, full time.
Yep.
Okay. And why did you start? Like, why do you believe in Jesus, or why do you worship Jesus? I guess.
Yeah, because he's the way, the truth, and life, and no one gets to the Father except through him.
And how did you come to that belief? Or
That's just a genetic fallacy. The reason I came to it doesn't change whether or not it's true.
Just to clarify, questions can be fallacies, or
No. When you're bringing up the question, like, how did you come to that, and you're trying to derive an issue in that specific thing, that is a genetic fallacy. So, like, for example, let me give you an example. Let's say I walked down the street and I bumped my head, right, and I had a hallucination that Jesus is God. But the only reason I had that hallucination is because I had like an issue with like some brain stems, right, and I went and got it fixed. But it just so happens that Jesus actually is God. Right? That wouldn't change the fact that I'm right about him being God. It'd just be me that I got there through the wrong means. So it doesn't matter how I got there.
it matters if I'm to convince you.
If you're what?
If I'm to convince you, it does matter. That's what I'm asking you. How did you come to believe God?
Yeah. Well, okay, give me the relevance.
Because if I can disprove some belief that you have that aids the likelihood in your head that God exists, then maybe I could disprove God exists. If I can know the reasons why you believe in God.
Hold on. So again, give me the relevance on how I came to the belief of Jesus is relevant to whether or not he actually is who he says he is.
So just like in your analogy, I could disprove God the same way with the wrong reason. So I need to know what the reason is regardless.
You just keep telling me you need to know. Can you give me the reason why you need to know?
Because it's going to aid me in this conversation.
Yeah, in what way?
Because I'm going to attack how you came. Some people believe it because they have faith.
Do you know what a tautology is? You're not actually elaborating on how it's useful. You just keep saying it's going to be useful in different ways.
Do you not want to tell me?
No,
you don't
I
have
don't want to tell. I thought that was obvious by saying it's irrelevant to the conversation.
I think if you don't want to tell me because it's not relevant, I think you're being dishonest.
Okay, then explain to me how it's relevant and I will change my position.
Because in this conversation, right, if I understand why you believe in Jesus, right, I can just focus on where those beliefs come from instead of having this huge meta conversation.
Okay, great. All right. I sneezed really hard at my mirror and I saw Jesus's face in my sneeze juices on the mirror. And I'm like, yep, he must be God.
Does that work on your audience? Dude, I'm being so fair. I'm being honest. I just want to know why do you believe in God?
Because I sneezed really hard on the mirror and in my sneeze juices, I saw Jesus's face and I'm like, yep, he must be God.
Does the Bible says you shouldn't lie, right? Is that right or wrong? I don't know.
It's wrong.
Okay. So I like when that first dude came up, he brought up that like he asked you how could he prove to you God's not real, right? Mm-hmm. So you brought up what I was planning to come up with, right? You could either prove, I forgot the first example you said, but you said, or you can prove there's like the likelihood he's not like real, right?
Yeah. So
like I'm open to the possibility that God's real, right? But I have a mental model, and tell me if you relate to this at all, right? I have a mental model, right, where I've taken all the information from my lifetime experiences, right? I put it all together, plug in all these numbers, all these events, all this evidence, right? And I'm like, it's probably very unlikely that God exists, right? But I can't prove it like you said correctly, right? I really can't prove God doesn't exist, right?
The way you just described it, you said you did a Bayes analysis?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
No, it wouldn't be Bayes.
Well, you said you took all this information. You said you took all this information from your past and things that you understood, and you took that data and pumped it into the information and came to the conclusion that the likelihood is very small. That's literally a Bayes analysis.
Maybe not how I understand it.
Okay, so what data did you put in to come to the conclusion that the likelihood of God's existence is like a 0.2?
So like when I was younger, like we would read the Bible, and there would be some things that like contradict what my intuition would tell me. Or
okay, so can we pause there? Why is your intuition a reliable standard for truth?
It's not.
Okay, so how's that a data point to disprove the existence?
Just because it's not reliable doesn't mean it's not predictive, right? So it's still useful. So I find
intuition's a great base point to start on things. Like philosophers use intuition all the time to build on things. But you said I read something and went against my intuition. That's a data point against the existence of God.
Well, I'm talking about when I was like 6. I'm talking about when I was like 6, dude.
You were reading the Bible at 6.
So when I was like 6. I don't remember how young I was, but it was probably before school. Yeah, like around 6. I wasn't reading like through the Bible by myself, but we would, Bible study.
Can I have a cup of coffee?
Like the little.
Okay, go ahead.
So, yeah. So like, like even the Christians. So like, I think Christians themselves aided me too, because it seems like even Christians don't actually believe in God. It seems more like a culture, or like just like a lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But like,
again, this is just like your intuition and feelings. Do you have an argument?
It's not feelings. Right.
Yeah,
so like
it seems to me that Christians don't even believe in God. That's just vibes, bro.
It's not vibes, right? So so other people have models.
Give me the argument on how Christians don't believe in God then.
Wait, so like that's how the stock market works, right? So everyone you would use other people's models. Just listen. So you use other people's models to aid your model, right? So if I look around the people that say they're Christians, don't actually believe in Christianity, I would assume they have knowledge I don't have, right? And if they don't believe it, if broadly no one believes it, that's actually predictive if it's true or not.
Yeah, this is all just vibes.
Right. So the stock market, it's not vibes.
Well, then give an actual argument or bring a data point outside of I look around and this is what I see.
Yeah. So when I say there's millions of people, right, who don't believe in Christianity, that's a data point. If you believe it or not.
Yes, there are millions of people who don't believe in Christianity. Yep. There's data on that. Sure.
Do you think that's data?
That is data, yes.
And do you think what people believe can be predictive?
Do I think what people believe can be predictive? That's a non sequitur. Doesn't even make sense. What does that mean?
So if I went to an alien planet and everyone told me, hey, like our atmosphere is made of methane, right? Do you think it's likely that the atmosphere is made of methane? If people are telling me that, could I likely predict that? Would that be useful information in predicting that?
Yes. Testimony is a valid source of evidence.
Okay. Thank you. So that's my point, right?
I have no clue what your point was there.
That you can use other people's models to aid your internal model.
That wasn't a model. That was a testimony. That's not models.
No, you would add that information. You would plug it into your broader model, right?
Yes, you would take information around the world, data points, and plug it into your model, your hypothesis, and see if your hypothesis works and fills everything out. But you're not actually making that argument. You said you took other people's models and plugged it into your models. That's not a model. That's testimony.
No, that's just one aspect, right? So every time I talk to you, that's why you don't understand the model, because you keep cutting me off. And dude, I promise you, I'm not trying to be.
I tell you what. If I just keep cutting you off, how much time do you need to make an argument? I'll put it on the screen. I got 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Like a minute.
Okay, I'm going to put a minute on the screen, and you're going to give me an actual argument that just isn't vibes. If you don't, I'm going to move on to the next person. Let go.
So like, it's not vibes, right? So like, imagine you're at a dinner table, right? And it's a very fancy dinner, right? There's a bunch of different utensils to use, right? And you don't want to embarrass yourself, right? And you don't know which utensil to use, right? If I were to tell you, hey, if you were to look around and see what utensils other people are using, right, that could actually inform you on what utensil you should use. Does that follow? Does that make sense? Just looking at other people's utensils actually inform you. Could it be predictive of what the appropriate utensil would be?
Yes,
that's the whole point. I don't even need the rest. Okay, so if I saw other Christians, right? I'm just talking about one aspect of my model before you cut me off, right? I'm saying I said the Bible, it didn't make sense, right? So like the universe is 3,000 years old, right? That disagrees with cosmology or whatever. It seems like Christians don't even believe in it themselves,
really?
Right?
Okay, hold on.
Christians believe. Go ahead.
Where in the Bible does it say the Earth's that old?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That was my understanding. It doesn't say that?
No.
Does it say the Earth was created before the sun? Or the moon was actually created before the sun? Or
all right, you didn't give an argument. It was just vibes. Appreciate your time.
Oh my God,
what are you laughing about?
You misquoted the scripture.
What
did you think about the utensils analogy? What do you think about?
I already agreed that testimony is evidence. God bless.
So how's that?
That's just crazy, man. Let's try again. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? User something. Oh, he left. This is a dope name. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
47.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Isn't it enough that Alex O'Connor exposed your poster as?
Oh, I know.
Isn't it enough?
Yeah, God bless. And very soon he's going to start calling my wife a whore. Just so you guys know, that's the kind of person he is. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hi, I'm good. My name is Alex. 23. I've got nothing to say, brother. I love Jesus Christ, and I love what you're doing here. Yeah, that's all I got. You can boot me.
Appreciate you.
What's up, man?
Hey, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
33. I wish I was under 18 still. I was born in 93. Yeah, man.
I think 25 is the optimal. I think that's where I would have loved to stay.
Yeah, that's when you can rent a car. That's when you're like at your peak. Like you can't, like you can rent a car now. But yeah, man, I just want to ask something about the Trinity. I'm a Trinitarian now recently. What's ironic, brother.
Hold on. You said you're a Trinitarian?
Yeah, but I don't understand it fully, and I just wanted to ask you something. How do you defend it biblically? Because the Book of Mormon, real quick.
Hold on, man. What does the title say?
Oh, sorry, I didn't read that, man. I didn't read that. No, Chris, I'll get out, man. I'll just come back at another time.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Mm-hmm. My fire, my sweet. Come to the Discord, by the way, if you have some questions. We have some wonderful people there that can help you there. Like specifically, if you have questions, go to the Discord. Link will be in my bio, and you can ask some questions there. You can also join the group. There's lots of people who love to talk about this stuff for hours on end. So go there, and they can help you out. Well, wonderful is a stretch. You're absolutely right. Wonderful is a stretch. Yeah. Sasha, hello. How are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Good evening. I'm 20.
All right, man. I'm good, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yeah, I'll try basically. So the first question I would like to ask you, how do you understand like in English language the word only? Is it inclusive or exclusive?
Yeah, are we just doing John 17:3?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, just make the argument.
Yeah, so according to Jesus, who is the true God?
That's a question, not an argument.
So, okay. So, like, according to John 17:3, like, the only true God is the Father.
That's a conclusion.
And Jesus.
I need an argument.
What do you mean?
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. You're a Muslim. You're going to John 17:3. You didn't read the Gospel of John at all. You're taking that single verse out of context. And I'm not interested in doing the semantics where you ask or not the semantics, the syntax of you asking a whole bunch of weird questions, trying to get like a gotcha moment. So instead, I'd rather you just provide me a full argument on why that verse excludes Jesus from being part of the only true God.
Okay, I apologize you for disturbing you. If you think I'm a Muslim, okay.
You are. Oh, he left on his own. Yeah, here's the thing. People go to John 17:3 and they're like, oh, Jesus is not God. But then they don't read John 1:1 where it literally calls Jesus God. Literally says, same author, same book. They don't read the entire context. They focus on the one thing. So I just rather get the argument than doing like that whole like rigmarole of the same argument that's been going on for like 20 years. Very empathetic. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you? Very empathetic.
Oh, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. How old are you?
Okay. 31.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
I would like to have a kind and curious conversation, if that's possible, because I don't like
Sure.
the whole,
that's fine. I'd rather have a good faith conversation too, but as long as you're here for the topic and you understand it is a debate.
Oh, yeah. I'm here for the topic.
Okay, great.
And my English isn't the best. I was once here talking to your brother. Was it the brother or your cousin?
John is not my brother. We're not related. I thought you said you wanted to have a nice conversation. You start with that?
Oh, man. I'm sorry. I didn't want to offend you.
He's just kidding. I remember you.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. Thank you. My topic would be something different, maybe something to pique your curiosity a little bit more than the whole other conversations you've been having. What I experienced was that I grew up as a Muslim and then I left, became an atheist because I found it to be really harmful for myself. So I try to show other people what I think is harmful. And one of the parts in the Bible that I think is interesting to look at is Matthew 23, for example, where there's a whole section where he's talking to the teachers of the law and Pharisees. He's calling them hypocrites and blind guides. And then he goes even further and says, like, you guys are full of greed and self-indulgence. And then doubles down and says things like, you look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside you are
whitewashed
full of the
tombs.
bones of the dead and everything.
Where inside there is nothing but dead bones. It's one of my favorite verses.
It's your very favorite? That's
one of my favorite verses. For you are but whitewashed tombs. On the outside you're beautiful and glorious, but on the inside you are filled with dead bones. Gives me chills.
Does it also say everything unclean on your source? Because on my source it says bones of the dead and everything unclean. I'm not sure which one I'm reading right now.
I'm fine with that saying it. I don't think it matters.
Okay. What I've realized is when I went to therapy, and when I get really upset and angry, I started to attack other people, like their whole being. I don't believe that people are wholly unclean or bones of the dead or dead bones or whatever. Everyone does something good in their life, right? Like even the most bad person ever. I don't want to call names, but you know probably who I'm talking about, like the German guy or Austrian guy. Even him, he did something nice probably in his life once, like in all of his years. That's what I believe, and that's also in the theory of psychology. There are cognitive distortion patterns written in the 1970s where they describe how people who are mentally unstable, what patterns they show. And one of those is like labeling or
Can I pause you because I think I know where you're going, right? Here's the thing: God doesn't reject you because of specifically of your deeds. He rejects you whether or not you want him or you don't want him. So I actually think this is a good example, and it's fresh in my mind because I just watched it. I've been watching House of David, and this is not spoilers because this is in the Bible. Saul, right, was anointed by God, chosen by God, and Saul, for all intents and purposes, it's a very hold on one sec.
Caller, is it right to call out hypocrites, especially if their actions are leading people to eternal damnation? I would argue it's hateful to not call people out.
I understand what you're saying, Sheikh, but I don't think that's what he's saying. So anyway, Saul, he loved God. He chased God for all intents and purposes. He did good things and was a good man. He was good to his family, good to his community, right? And his issue was that he wanted the crown. He wanted the throne, right? He wanted the power more than he wanted God. And so this is why God cut him off. It's not because he was a good man or a bad man. It's because he held something to a higher regard than God himself. And God says, okay, what's that saying, Abby, that you quote from C.S. Lewis all the time?
Heaven and hell is split.
Thy will be done.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Jeez. Heaven and hell is split between people who say, thy will be done to God, and people who God says to them, thy will be done.
Right. So it's not about, oh yeah, I see good people and bad people in God. It's about whether or not you accept God and you want God or you don't. And that's what it is. And like Abby said, it's God says either, God's will be done, or he looks upon you and says your will be done. But the problem is we're sinful, broken creatures. So God allows us to live in our own will, our own decisions, but that leads to our own destruction.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is, even if it is being judgmental, you don't go to hell because you're being a bad person. You're going to hell if you're trying to hold something higher than God himself. Did I understand that correctly?
Well, yeah and no. I'm going to get a little bit jargony here, right? Anything that is not, anything that is not holding God to the highest standard is bad. So yes, you are going to hell for being a bad person, but it's not like, oh, I slapped Buddy in the face, but then I hugged this other person, and God's like, well, you hugged that guy, you slapped this guy, but that person you hugged three people, you slapped three people and you only hugged one person, so therefore you're going to go. No, right? All sin separates us from God. All badness separates us from Him. It's more along the lines of like God looks upon you and says, I see your sin, I recognize it, right? I will pay for your sin, I will pay for your consequence. All you have to do is desire me, and I'll do the rest.
To be honest, I like that perspective a lot. That would have saved me a lot of mental issues I had. But that doesn't really change my view on that that part in the Bible I was talking about, that he seems like he can't control his anger. Like if you looked at someone that went, woe to you, woe to you, woe to you, and kept going and going and
don't
attacking
conflate passion with anger, and don't conflate righteous anger with uncontrolled anger. Don't conflate those things.
Oh, okay. So he's being passionately attacking them,
There's an anger,
what
but there's a righteous anger, right? Like let's say I'm gonna go like, do you have children?
No, I don't. Sorry.
Okay. But you can understand the idea of having a child. Let's say you had a child and you found out somebody did something terrible to your child. Would you be angry?
Yeah, I think there is healthy anger.
Yeah,
there is.
Yeah, and that's not a bad anger. That's a good anger. And if you can control that anger and you can align it towards the greatest good, right, you could do good with that anger. So anger in itself isn't a bad thing or even uncontrolled, right? Jesus, yeah, for sure, he felt anger. But that's a righteous anger. It's a good thing. It's because of people's separation from him. It breaks his heart, right? You like if you're with somebody for 50 years and they cheat on you with somebody else, you're going to be angry. Your heart's going to be broken.
Yeah, I totally agree. And great for you to explain it like that. I don't see that often. But what I'm thinking is, where does it get unhealthy? Like I think when you start attacking someone, their whole personality, or their whole being, I think that's where it gets unhealthy. Would you agree with me?
No, I think there is a time where a righteous anger directed towards somebody who's done something terrible deserves an attack. That's justice. That's literally what justice is. That's the court system, right? Somebody does something wrong. We want justice. We want to see that person pay for the things that they've done. And it's not out of, there's a difference between like vengeance and justice, right? Justice is like, you've done wrong. We want to make it right. And we're going to find a way to pay it, make it right. Vengeance is, you've done wrong and I want wrong done upon you.
But if you call someone everything unclean when they're not, do you see that there has to be some mental distortion?
I'm sorry to cut you off again, but I think you're conflating the unclean thing. Unclean means to be set apart, separate, right, from what was holy, right? For example, like, the Israel men, there were times where they were unclean. Israel women, there were times they were unclean, simply ceremonial. So much by ceremony, there are certain foods that are unclean by ceremony. It did not mean it was filthy, gross, and wrong.
Okay, so in that context where he's attacking them more or less and calling them everything unclean, he's not trying to say that they are like evil themselves, or
well, no, he is calling them evil. Yeah, he said the whole context of that is that on the outside they have made themselves a glorious appearance of God. They walk around, they pray for God, they give alms in front of everybody, they stand in the street, right, making themselves look like such righteous and holy men. But in truth, they've held other things to a higher regard. They actually reject God. And this is what Jesus is calling out. He says, on the outside, you look wonderful and beautiful, but on the inside, I can see who you really are. You have separated yourself from God. You are unclean and you are filled with nothing but dead bones. Right? Where Jesus says, I find you dead in your sins. And then through him, you find life. They are dead. They've been separated from God, not physically dead. There's different types of death, right? The death here is that they are separated from God. They do not desire him. They do not love him. They have chosen hell. And Jesus is calling out what he sees.
Okay. Well, my standpoint comes from psychology, where it is known to, when I call someone evil or like an asshole, like their whole person, I call them like something they can't be. Like someone can't be wholly evil. That's not what I think that happens. Usually you've probably heard the sentence, hurt people, right? Like whenever
I don't
you
agree
don't
with
believe
this.
in that?
No, I believe hurt people hurt people. I believe there is a thing of that, right? I believe there's people who can fall into sin. They could do bad things. And they could pull back from that. But I think there are people that are just plain evil, man. I think Jeffrey Epstein was plain evil. Like I
Yeah,
saw
could be,
some
man.
videos that released from him, man, and there's no way I could see what I saw him do to somebody and think that that person is actually a good person deep down. I can't.
To be honest, I can't blame you for thinking like that. You know, it was more of what the combination of what I've read and then applied to myself and seen that it is applicable. That whenever I get to process my emotions better, that I stop having these cognitive distortion patterns that I'm trying to show you. But I get your point as well. I'm not trying to. I'm not blaming you for that. So I would cut it off here because I think you have your point and I have my point. But it was great talking to you, and I hope people are being kinder to you. Please, the other callers, try to be nice. And if you know you can't be nice, maybe don't join. You know, that's
Amen.
better.
Amen. Thanks, man. You've been a great conversationist, and good luck on your journey. And I hope you find your truth, or the truth.
Hey, thank you to you as well, man.
God bless, bro.
Good catch. We don't believe in your truth.
Yeah. What a solid guy. Solid
Yeah, he
guy.
was really nice too last time.
All right, let's do some soups. We missed this one because the music is so loud. God has blessed me with a lot of work today, so I won't say much today. God bless you and Abby. Give them heaven, lads. There you go. Big John 10 million, atheist 0. That's not true. I've been cooked by some atheists. I wish that was true. Big John 10 gajillion, Muslim 0. No, I've been cooked by some Muslims too. If we're talking strictly debate and winning the what do you call it, the rhetoric, I've lost so many times when it came to the rhetoric. Caller, is it right to call out hypocrites, especially if their actions are leading people to eternal damnation? I would argue it's hateful to not. Yeah, I would agree with that too. Yeah, but I think what he was saying is like recognizing that people are evil when everybody is good is what he's kind of pointing at. Make a song with Sabaton vibes about how the West owes its victories to God and the Christian faith. I don't know what Sabaton is, so no. All right. Let's bring up the next guest. Guys, please make sure you keep hitting the like button, smashing the like, sharing, doing all the things that you need to do. Again, I'm primarily focused on good faith conversations. If you come up hot and spicy, you're going to get a little hot and spicy, and you're probably going to get booted pretty quick. If you want to navigate a conversation to discover the truth in it, that is more interesting to me.
Funky's mad at you.
Why? What'd I do?
Because you don't know what Sabaton is.
I
don't know what it is either.
Yeah.
Probably some nerd thing.
Yeah. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Yo, what's up? 21.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
I don't know, but I can try.
Okay.
So, do you know that more than 800,000 women get sexually assaulted every single day?
Sure.
And do you think there would be any possible reason that is justifiable as to why God wouldn't do anything about it?
Yeah, so instead of like using like a mode of arguments, I'd rather just kind of focus on like breaking it down like arithmetic and logically. Can God allow for unnecessary evils and still be all good? Yes, I would say he does, because I hold to the defeater position. As long as he defeats the evils in the end, that is just by definition.
So you're saying it's enough that he'll do something in the future. Don't you think it would be better if he were to spare the people that are victimized in these situations so that they don't have to go through that, and not just focusing on, hey, I'm going to end up doing something about it in the future. You can continue to do all these bad things.
Yeah, how would I know if it's better or worse?
No, I'm just asking you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
in terms
I'm giving you an answer. You're saying, do I not think it would be better? And my question for you is, how would I know? What is the methodology in which I would discover whether or not it is better to allow these unnecessary evils, or if it's better to just completely wipe them out? Because I don't hold to like a what do you call it? Egalitarian point of view, where we're just seeking the maximal amount of pleasure and happiness.
So you don't know whether or not it's better. So for in the specific context that we're talking about, in terms of someone getting sexually assaulted, you don't know if it's better to stop it from happening or doing something about it but only after it happens, when you could have done something about it before
No,
it happens.
that's a terrible straw man in my position, right? God allowing, like you're making it like hyper specific. You're kind of going in a situation like, would if I was there, should I ought to stop it? Yes, I should say I ought to stop it, right? Because I'm doing what is good, which is being the most virtuous type of person. But the problem is I can't reach that high type of virtues unless we have these horrible evils in the first place.
So you're saying these bad things that are happening are necessary?
No, I literally said that they're unnecessary.
Okay, so because I'm asking you, you said if you were in that instance, you would do the morally virtuous thing and stop it.
Yep.
So when God is allowing it to happen, you're saying that He's doing the thing that is not morally virtuous.
No, that's a category error, right? God isn't a human.
I never said He's a human.
Yeah, well,
I'm just saying,
here's for example, right? If should I go out of my way to stop the dolphins from graping other dolphins?
You can't.
But but I'm asking, should I? Like, if I had the ability to do so, should I go and start doing that?
Yeah.
And I should stop the animals from eating other animals, and right, I should start dictating the world that they're living in.
You should if you could.
Yeah, I don't think that follows. I don't think that follows. I think we're under a different category.
If you're able to create a world where animals can live, thrive, and die peacefully without killing each other and doing anything to each other, then I think, don't you think that that's a world that you'd ought to do?
No.
Why not?
Why should I? Again, I don't understand the consequence of everything. Like, for example, in Teletubbies world, which is what you're promoting, we live in a world that lacks virtue. I think a world with virtue is better.
Exactly. So, like you just admitted, you just said it would be morally virtuous. If you were in that instance, it would be morally virtuous to do something about it.
No, that's not what I said. I said if your world existed, we would live in a world that lacks virtue. And I think living in a world that has virtue is better.
So you think, okay. So you think animals eating other animals and people being sexually assaulted is a world that has virtue?
It allows for the possibility of virtue. Again, you're saying that it has to happen. That's a necessity. It's not a necessity. We could, if we were all these virtuous creatures, none of these things would happen. But we need the possibility of that to seek out this virtue. It gives meaning making.
We need the possibility of those bad things to happen in order to have virtue.
Yes.
So God is allowing all of these bad things to happen because it allows us to have virtue.
Yep.
Doesn't that seem kind of wrong, man?
Well, I mean, I've given you a logically consistent argument on why I think it's true, and your response is nuh-uh.
The fact that God can't do something about everyone.
Well, hold on. Don't trail off, right? I gave you a logically consistent. Hold on, stop. I gave you a logically consistent argument, something that I actually prefer. Right, this is my preference. And then when I give you the logically consistent argument, your response is nuh-uh. That's all you said. Like now we're just at preference. You prefer an egalitarian. Hold on, let me finish, and I'm going to let you go. You prefer an egalitarian world. I don't. Now what?
And I'm asking you, why don't you? And you're saying
yes, because I think a world with virtue, it creates more meaning making.
So and that specific world, what's happening in that world?
You have meaning making.
Yes.
For example, So I'll give you an example, right? You ever watch Lord of the Rings?
No.
You've never watched Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I've never actually watched Lord of the Rings.
You should watch Lord of the Rings. What's your favorite movie?
Fractured. Do you know the movie Fractured?
No, I don't. Give me a quick summary of what happens in Fractured.
So in Fractured, it's about a guy who takes his family to a hospital, leaves them at the hospital to go get something, comes back. The hospital says they don't know anything about his wife and kid. He starts suspecting that they abducted his wife and kid. And then after the whole show, and this is a spoiler, after the whole show, he finds out that, hey, he's just been hallucinating everything and he actually murdered his family in the beginning of the show.
Crazy. Okay. Why? Great. Why is that your favorite movie rather than the Teletubbies TV series?
I'd say because there was, I don't know. I think it's because it kind of shows how how twisted the mind can be and how it can kind of create certain fantasies, just so that it doesn't have to rub shoulders with reality because it's uncomfortable with it.
Okay, so, but again, why is the Teletubbies TV series not your favorite show? Because the Teletubbies TV series actually provides the world that you're saying that you prefer.
Yeah, but I think the reason why I would say I prefer shows where there is some kind of struggle and then there's victory in the end, because, well, the people in there are acting. If you were to ask me, if I were to watch a show
but hold on. So you prefer, you're shifting to a different point. I just want to clarify.
I'm not shifting.
I'm going to let you speak. I promise I'm going to let you speak. So you prefer a place where somebody overcomes something and has more virtue and has more meaning.
A show where people are acting. A show.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were asking
that's your
me
preference, though.
Yes, that's not a show. I just want to make it sure. So God isn't watching a show when He's watching us. We agree, right?
That's not what I'm talking about, man. I'm not saying God is watching a show with us and He gets meaning making from it.
Yeah, I'm just asking you. You can agree with me that God isn't watching a show. These are real people that are dying. These are real people that are being sexually assaulted. These are real people with bad things happening to them.
Yes,
you agree. And just the fact that at the end of all of this, these perpetrators are going to go to hell and burn for eternity, and the people that have been assaulted are going to praise in heaven and have a happy life.
This is just a motivism. What's the argument? Like you're just saying things that stir up a certain emotion that you dislike, and therefore you're saying it's wrong. That doesn't get me to the point where I'd say God doesn't exist.
Listen, I'm not trying to prove to you that God doesn't exist. I'm just trying to say, okay, this is what's happening. Yes, I'm just trying to say this is what's happening, and this is what we can agree that God is allowing to happen. And on that standard, are you okay with that? That's what I want to understand. Are you okay?
I've already said that. Or again, this is just an emotivism argument. You're just giving emotions. You're just saying this makes me feel icky, therefore it no good.
You keep running to emotivism. I don't know how that substantiates why you think that it's okay to allow for all of these terrible things to happen and not do anything about it.
Right, because it creates a world. It creates a world that gives meaning making and gives virtue. So that's why I think it's better.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Do you not? You said that's why you think it's better, right? Do you not think it would be better if no one had to go through any of this and we would celebrate in heaven with God?
No, you're going in a circle.
Why not?
Because a world where no one has to go through those things doesn't have meaning making and virtue.
How does it not have meaning?
Meaning making. The same reason you watch Fracture is because there's a meaning making there. There's a thing that overcomes. There's something to derive towards. And you don't watch Teletubbies is because there's no meaning making in Teletubbies.
Yeah, but I watch Fractured because I know that the people are acting. If this is happening in the real world, so you're saying there's meaning.
That's fine that you know. It's fine that you know people are acting. That doesn't change the fact that it's preferred. It's preferred to seek out meaning making than it is to not seek out meaning making. That's the point. There's the preference there. So the world that we live in, I prefer because it gives meaning making and it gives virtue. Now, all you said so far, I've given you a logically consistent argument. You might not like it, but at the end of the day, that's just your preference versus my preference.
So you think meaning making should be preferred first.
If I have to repeat myself again, I'm going to boot you. Can you provide a new aspect to the argument?
He has been voted
so before the safety and security of human beings, you think meaning making should be
all right. So I'm gonna answer you. Okay, here's the deal. What's your name?
You're man.
What's your name?
I cannot believe.
I'm trying to get on the same page as you. What's your name? Zach. Okay, Zach. Here's the deal. I'm going to answer your question for the 5th time. If you don't provide a new reason why I'm wrong to hold it, or I should give it up, or it's inconsistent, I'm going to remove you from the chat. Is that fair?
Sorry. What do you say?
I'm going to provide you the answer again for the 5th time. Once I'm done giving you the answer again for the 5th time, if all you do is just repeat why you don't like it, rather than providing why it's inconsistent or I shouldn't hold to it. Right. And hold on, let me finish, please. If you don't do that, then I'm going to remove you. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Great. Okay. So the reason that I prefer a world that has the possibility of suffering, because the possibility of suffering allows for higher forms of good, like virtues and meaning making. That is my preferred world. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is why you said I should give you a reason why that's inconsistent. And I'm telling you, the reason why it's inconsistent is because it's at the detriment of human beings.
That's not an inconsistency. That's the basis of my argument. My basis of my argument starts on that premise. So you're just saying, okay, I don't like it again. Can you give me a reason why?
Because I believe that if you can create a world where no one has to suffer, then that's a better world than people suffering. And then, hey, people can go through a detriment 1, 2, 3. Like, guys, are you guys really saying this? Like, I cannot believe this.
Why are you here?
Oh my gosh.
You don't like his answer. You just keep asking your question over and over again. So why are you even here?
Like, oh my gosh, you guys think it's better for people to suffer just because there's going to be something nice?
Now let me ask you a question. Do you think you moved the conversation forward or not?
I think you actually moved the conversation backward.
All right, appreciate your time. God bless.
You keep introducing.
You keep asking the same question over and over and over.
Why?
Again.
Hold on. At the same time, I was very polite to him. At the end, he said "F you" to me.
Yeah, because you didn't say what he wanted you to say.
Man, I don't get why people are so hostile. Henson, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hey, I am.
You got it. Your camera's got to be off, man. I don't know how you got it on in the first place. Yeah, no, I don't trust it. Green light. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Doing well. 42.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Maybe not, but I can try.
Okay, go ahead.
Definitionally, would you define the God you believe in as a perfectly moral being?
Well, I mean, yeah, but what does it mean? What do you mean when you say perfect?
Well, it's kind of what you mean. That's why I said if you define. So when I use the word perfect, I mean like all-encompassing good in this specific question. So like,
yeah, okay. So two things. Like semantics are important. Two things we need to substantiate before we can say this: what perfect is and what good is.
Okay. How would if you heard that statement, would you agree with that statement that the being you believe in is a perfectly moral being?
Based off my semantics, yes, but I don't know if it's based off your semantics.
Okay, and real quick, since you were able to say yes, can you give me what you think perfect means in that question?
Yeah, perfect is to lack flaw, right? Something that to lack something that goes against intent, right? And then goodness is God. That is our definition of good.
Okay, I think I can get on board. Maybe the first 2 points. I think the last one I would need a little more convincing. Okay, so we'll go with that definition of perfect. Okay, so next question is, in your opinion, would a perfectly moral being give his people rules that outline stoning women who don't bleed on their wedding night? Would that come from a perfectly moral being? Okay. Now, why do you think that would come from a perfectly moral being?
Because God is good. And so therefore anything that God does must necessarily be good. Remember, my semantic here is God is good.
Now, one of the reasons why I like to call in and talk to you, because I think you're really smart, and I think you would recognize that that's a circular argument.
Well, yeah, there's an axiom that we're resting on here. I agree that it's circular, but Agrippa's trilemma or whatever, eventually at some point you always come down to some sort of axiom or circularity, right? My foundation for what goodness is the nature of God, right? So that is my foundation. So when I see God do something, all God can do is based off his nature is goodness. So if I see him give a certain set of commandments, right, the reason he gave those commandments is for the goodness of creation.
Okay. Interesting take. What do you think the goodness of creation that commandment was able to create?
Yeah, so I think God is trying to set apart his people from the Babylonian code and working towards sanctification, where it's a gradual process where you meet them where they're at, like you would with a toddler. And by meeting them where they're at, eventually you can drive them towards being fully grown adults.
And you think having women stoned for not bleeding on their wedding night was a moral way?
So if you read the Mosaic Law are not conditionals. Are there not like odd claims? They're not a whole bunch of odd claims. There are odd claims in them, but they're mostly material implications. Material. Am I forgetting that right? Hold on. Let me make sure I'm getting that word right. I always get this wrong. Yeah, material implication.
Okay.
So they're if-then conditionals, right? And this is all set off the fact that they already live a Babylonian and Hammurabi code. So you'll see a lot of correlates between the Mosaic Law and the Hammurabi code. When we go to Jesus, Jesus makes this very clear. He says, we allowed for law, we allowed for the law of divorce because of the hardness of your heart, but since the beginning, God never thought it to be good. So God definitely does prescribe certain laws that he doesn't think to be the highest form of goodness.
Okay, so I know the divorce law was he acknowledged that was something that he didn't prefer, at least, but put in place. So I see the connection.
He allowed it because of the hardness of their hearts. And if it's true in the case of at least one, right, then we have a logical consistency.
No, I appreciate drawing that connection. But if outside of drawing these connections, if I was asking your opinion, if a perfectly moral being, like I said, prescribed this, I guess you kind of already said yes in your first answer, but because you said it because it was God, God is good by definition. But outside of it coming from God, if this prescription came from anybody else, would you describe that as a moral? Good?
That's a category error, right? That's like looking at a fish and saying a fish doesn't operate in the morals of humanity, therefore a fish is evil.
Well, no, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to remove the divine aspect from it and just wrestle with just the idea of giving that as a commandment, aside from it coming from a because you've already defined him as good. So anything that he does or commands is good by definition. So I can't really argue with that. So now I just want to wrestle with just the idea itself.
Yeah, sure.
And do you think just that idea, having a woman stoned for not bleeding on her wedding night, would come from?
Okay. Watch this. All right. So we remove the divinity. So we remove the form of what I think is good. So therefore, all that's left is my preference, right? So now we have my preference. Now you say, hey, if I saw this, would I say it's good? I say yes. Now what?
Well, okay, for sure. Now what? I think that what that does, I think it at least it gives an idea of where you're coming from and what you are willing to, adopt as moral. And then you can justify that, by whatever means.
My ultimate point is, where are you getting this standard of morality? Like I say yes, you say no. Now what?
I agree. It's subjective. I at least acknowledge that up front. I don't think there is an objective morality. So I'm not beholden to that.
So do you see the irony in looking at God and saying he's not all good when I hold to a subjective morality?
Well, but it's only because it's claiming to be objective. So that's where the irony, I think, opens the door. Yeah, if I was claiming to have an objective moral, I think that you would have a leg to stand on. But because I recognize that it's objective.
No, you misunderstand. Because if you're doing an internal critique, then you must use the internal standard. You can't use your external standard. The internal standard here is God is the goodness.
Yeah, but like I said, you recognize that's a circular definition, and so like you can't. There's no way to battle that, which is why it's recognized. Okay, a circular definition.
Well, you could battle that, right? You could show me why it's more. Hold on. Let me give you how you could answer that, right?
Okay.
You could give me an internal critique, which shows that a goodness actually rests and grounded in something else, and it's more likely to be grounded in the other thing. We say all things come from God. And so God himself claims to be the goodness. And so therefore, if goodness is simply the state of being, a perfect state of being, and God is a perfect state of being, then therefore he is the goodness, right? If you can give me something else on why I would think that thing is a goodness, then yeah, that would drive me away from my axiom.
Well, so what you're asking me to do is I already acknowledge, in my opinion, can't be happening, which is ground the word goodness in like an objective, in an objective frame. So I don't think that can happen, and I don't think it has happened. But because I recognize this objective, I can then use my subjective opinion and say, hey, I don't think a moral being, especially a perfectly moral being, would give an instruction to have women killed for not bleeding on their wedding night.
Yeah, based off what though?
Well, I could give you, like, from what I understand, that the reason it was to make sure that the bride price of the virgin was honored, and then I think that we know scientifically that like only about half of the women actually bleed on their first time.
Yeah, again, so hold on. Now you're shifting to a different point. You're shifting to, is it good, or whether or not God actually got something correct in his knowledge?
I'm making a subjective moral argument of why I think.
Yeah. Okay.
So
just real quick, that's not, and again, these are material implications. It's if then conditional. So if this scenario happens, this is a way to prove the virginity, right? It even says in that exact same verse that you're bringing up, it says supposed. Supposed is not an exhaustive case in all situations.
Didn't say it was.
Right. So again, you bringing up well, that's not a means to prove it is completely irrelevant.
Well, I didn't argue that it wasn't a means to prove it. My point was because I recognize that this is coming from a subjective frame, and I don't have to pin it on an objective frame and then use a circular argument to hold that frame. I can free from that and say, hey, in my opinion, this is bad, and here's why.
I don't care about your opinion, though. I want a reason to reject it. Your opinion is irrelevant to me.
Okay, well, the reason why they reject it is because we know that half of the women don't bleed on their wedding night. So this is not a measuring stick to determine the virgin.
My goodness gracious, that's a material implication. It's an if-then conditional. It's not exhaustive. That's not the only way to prove that a woman bleed on her wedding night, right? The Mosaic law wasn't a letter of the law. If it was a letter of the law, then it wouldn't be the case that you would need a court system and actually try these people. You could simply go off the basis of 2 to 3 witnesses.
So do you think, in your opinion, did innocent women die because of this law?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so there you go. Is innocent women dying a moral good or a moral bad, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's probably not a good thing.
Okay, so at least we can find some common ground there. And so what I think by implication is that this law or this commandment for his people, I think, as you would agree, not a moral good.
I already told dog. My goodness gracious, that's silly. Yes, that's insufferable because at the start of the conversation, well, I'm going to tell you why. The start of the conversation was the start of the conversation. I told you that the Mosaic law wasn't a moral code.
I didn't.
Yes, you did, because I brought up the law. I brought up the law of divorce, and you talked about it, and we talked about how Jesus said he allowed it because of the hardness of your hearts. But he did not see it to be good. So therefore, it's not a moral code. You agreed with that foundation. And then you just brought me all back to this point. Well, it's not a moral code. Yes, that's the foundation of what we're talking about.
Yeah, but I what I did was I agreed with your assessment of making that connection of how God could give a law that he doesn't necessarily agree with. But remember, this is the God that commanded people not to eat shellfish and not to wear mixed fabrics. So I mean, clearly he can go out of his way to talk what he doesn't and does want. And so when he outlines a criteria to determine if a woman is a virgin or not, and it doesn't measure up.
Okay, yeah. So again, you're trying to bring this up as a moral code. Then why did God remove the aspect of like you can eat whatever you want? Why did he change that? If it was a moral virtue for all of time.
Because morals are subjective. Just like my argument.
Okay, so then it's the fact that God's subjective standard is the standard that we all live by. Even if it's just God's subjective standard and it's just command theory, I still have a better basis to hold to his opinion than yours. Because then if that's the case, if it's the case that is just based off his stance dependency, all things that exist are stance dependent on God. The fact that this ground is beneath me is only there because it's not a circular argument.
You already agreed it's not a circular argument.
Let me finish what I'm saying. Let me finish what I'm saying. If it is the case, right? It's not a circular argument. If it starts on an if, it's a material implication, which means that if X is true, then Y. It's not I'm not saying X is true. What I'm saying is if it is the case that God exists and it's all divine command theory, then all things that exist are stance dependent on God's mind.
Right, yeah. If you, so are you accepting divine command theory? That would be different from earlier, right?
No, I'm not accepting
you,
divine command theory. I'm just showing you a problem with your argument.
Right. No, well, I think you showed me how a way that you feel like can solve it by appealing to divine command theory, but I think all of your work is still ahead of you, considering that like the God you're at least invoking still materially hasn't been proven to exist. And I know
now you're shifting to a completely different topic, right?
It's not
is God a good guy? This is what you guys always do. You guys always come up and God's an evil big meanie, and then I give you reasons why I don't think God's a big evil meanie and why we actually hold to these internal things. But then you go, well, he doesn't exist anyways. Which conversation you want to have? No, stop. Which conversation you want to have? Is God an evil big meanie or does he exist? Which one?
What, are you using divine command theory as an argument? Or
Time. God bless.
Oh, come on, man.
Henson, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hey, I'm 37. I'm back. Sorry about the camera thing, man. I don't know how that happened.
That's fine. I've had people show me some things I will never forget, so I just don't risk it. All right, man.
I feel you, man. I hear you.
Yeah. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yeah, well, first off, I'm very brand new to your channel. Sorry if you don't want to go this path, but can I ask a question? Like, do you want to stop?
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm 18.
All right, man, you got a lot of background noise.
Wait, can you give me a minute?
Yep.
One sec. So wait, give me a sec. Just 1 sec. How about now?
That's better. All right, man, can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yeah, okay. So my first question is, if I give you enough evidence, would you stop worshiping Jesus?
Yeah.
Okay, so when Jesus says that he does nothing by himself, he can only do things through the will of the Father. Meaning, why don't you worship the Father?
That's a question, not a piece of evidence.
Right.
Yeah, but you said if I could provide you enough evidence. Hold on. Let's just. I'm just going to steel man your position. You said if I could provide you enough evidence, would you stop worshiping Jesus?
I'll give you evidence then. Okay, sure. So you want the same as basically.
Are questions evidence?
I'll give you. Okay, so when Jesus said.
When Jesus said what?
The suspense is killing me.
Hey man, yeah, can you still hear me? Yeah, I said, Jesus says in the Bible, John 17:3, the Father is the only true God. Therefore, you shouldn't worship Jesus.
Yeah, you need a second premise for that to be logically sound and valid.
What do you mean? You believe in the Bible?
Well, yes, I believe in the Bible, yeah.
So that should be enough for you then, no?
No, it's not enough for me.
Why not?
Why is it? You need a second premise for a valid and sound argument, right? You can't come to a conclusion off a single premise.
Right, but that's, what do you mean?
Yeah, you're just drawing conclusions, right? Why should I accept your conclusion? What in that sentence removes Jesus from being included in the category of true God?
Because he says the only.
Mm-hmm. There is only one true God.
And he matches the Father. Yes,
yeah, there's only one true God. And if Jesus...
And he says you.
Yeah. And hold on. And if Jesus shares in the same substance of the Father, that would also make him that true God.
But they're separate though.
They are distinct. They're not separate.
Is the thing, there's always...
They're distinct.
No, but they are separate. There's always a separation in the Bible.
They're distinct. Like, for example, they're distinct. They're not separate. So let me show you. Let me show you here. Let me show you. Okay, so here is John 17:3 broken down into like an arithmetic. Where'd it go? Get off my screen. There's always an update. Why is it not scrolling? Why can't I full screen that? Expand. There we go. So here's the sentence broken down into arithmetic, right? The equation of Jesus, right? So we have for all x, if x is E and x knows G, and G is true God, and x knows J. You get the point. So in plain English, when you break it down into arithmetic text, for every person, that person has eternal life if and only if they know the Father. The Father is true God. They know Jesus, and the Father sent Jesus. The only way it would exclude Jesus from being true God is if it read this: for anything Y, if Y is true God, then Y is identical to the Father. Right, so there is nothing in that sentence that actually excludes Jesus.
Yeah, but that's
from being,
this. Okay, okay. So
it's like, still,
okay, but no,
right, so there's nothing in that sentence that actually excludes Jesus from being in the category of true God.
So you believe they're one? They share the same attributes.
They share the same nature, yes.
But do they share the same attributes?
They share the same nature. What do you mean by attributes?
Like, are they both on? Is Jesus all-knowing, for example, in the same way the Father is?
Knowledge is contingent on a nature, so Jesus is both all-knowing and not all-knowing at the same time.
Can you? My bad, you cut out. Can you repeat it?
I didn't cut out. You left the app. So you went to look at some notes or something.
No,
anyways,
yeah. So
knowledge is contingent on a nature. So therefore, Jesus possessing two natures is both all-knowing and not all-knowing at the same time.
But that's contradictory, though.
It's only contradictory as if it's in the same way in the same sense. But because it's possessed by two different natures, it's not in the same way in the same sense.
You mean like the nature of it being man is that what you mean? And then,
yeah, again, knowledge is contingent on a nature. Jesus has two natures. Therefore, he possesses two different instances of knowledge. So therefore, he has one instance where it's all-knowing, and a second
at the same time.
Yes, at the same time. Yep.
So how is that not contradictory?
Because it's not in the same way in the same sense, because the knowledge is contingent on the nature, not the person.
So you can switch natures, basically.
Nope. He has two natures simultaneously.
And they're not contradictory. Him being all
if I got to repeat myself again, I'm going to move on, man. Because you got to either add to the conversation, show an issue with it, but just repeating myself is not going to do anything.
Okay, so in Mark 30:32, that's the one I was trying to get to. The hour. Jesus didn't know the hour.
Yeah, talking about the hour is most likely talking about idiomatic language, because Jesus is constantly using wedding parables and wedding analogies in comparison to what is going to happen between him and Israel, right? He's going to come down and marry them. So when we see a wedding parable happen again here, what was the common practice according to Israel tradition is that it was only for the father to reveal that information. So in that case, Jesus is basically stating it's not my place to reveal the information. It's only for the father. I can show you a verse where he said, I can show you a verse where Jesus literally says, I know all things that are going to happen to me. And considering that Jesus is the groom at the wedding, right, he knows what's going to happen to him.
Right, but that's separate though. We're still at the hour. That's not. I'm saying. So you're saying
right,
he knew the hour?
Yes, he did know the hour. If all things, okay, so it's simple. If Jesus knows all things that are going to happen to him, and Jesus is going to be in the hour, then it follows that Jesus knows the hour.
Then why did he say he doesn't know it?
I just explained that.
No, you said
I literally did. Chat, did I just explain? Did I just explain?
Yes,
did I literally just explain that, chat? You said I didn't explain that. I'm just curious. I want to address the chat. I want to address. No, hey, don't tell me to chill out. If I want to get mad, I'll get mad. No, anyways, chat. Chat. Did I explain that? Yes, they're all saying yes. I explained it, so it wasn't my fault that you weren't listening.
I didn't say you didn't, bro. I didn't say
you literally did. You literally said that. Yeah.
Yes, my bad. Okay, it was on. It was an instinct, bro. Not my point. You said it was a wedding parable.
Well, it wasn't right. It's equivalent. Like I'm showing you that he's constantly talking about a wedding, right? And so then when I see him referring to a wedding in a specific scenario, then I have basis to believe that he's using the same kind of idiomatic language.
So he used a wedding parable to say he doesn't know the hour. That's what you're saying.
No.
Then That's literally what you just said.
Nope. Chad, is that what I said?
It is. Yeah, I see they're saying yes.
They're still saying yes from the last thing I asked. It's still like.
I know, I'm kidding, man. I'm trolling, bro. I'm kidding. Don't worry.
There it is. No. Nope.
Then what did you say? Okay, wait, let's ask chat then what you said. Let's ask chat then what you said. If they're just saying no because you said that. Chat, what did you say? Because they're saying no, they should know what you said then. If we're going to stick to chat.
Also, remember, I have another chat going here as well, as you can see. So I'll tell you what they're saying.
Where's that? What's that?
It's on YT.
Twitch or?
YT.
Oh, YouTube. Nice, man. What's your...
There you go. Thing? OQ just explained it. There you go.
That's YouTube, bro. I'm on...
No, on TikTok. Right there. Right there. You can see it.
So to explain the end times. So he is talking about the hour. Then he says he doesn't know it.
All right, man.
That proves my point.
Listen. You're not engaging in good faith, so I'm going to move on. Appreciate you.
Wait, what? What are you?
I want you. Okay, here. If you think you are being good faith, then steel man my position.
Then what?
Steel man, tell me my argument in a way that I'd say yes, that is what my argument is.
Your argument to my, you mean my response basically?
No, I want you to tell me my argument in a way I'd say yes, that is what I was arguing for. Your response to what I said, that argument you mean? All right, appreciate your time. God bless.
No, chill out, bro. Your argument is that you said that Jesus was speaking about the.
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hey, what's up? I'm 19.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yeah, I can try. So obviously it's going to be difficult because you have to fight faith, which is, it's hard to fight faith without decent reasoning. So I want you to try to explain to me why you do believe in God.
It's irrelevant.
Why you do believe in God, it's irrelevant?
Yep.
Okay. Well then, what about other religions around the world? How come there's so many other ones?
So your argument is just ask questions?
Okay, well, I'm just trying to get some context here.
Right, but here's the thing. I'll tell you. I believe in God because I sneezed really hard on the mirror, and I saw a picture of Jesus in the mirror, and so therefore I concluded Christianity is true.
Okay. Well, what about like ancient Middle Eastern religions? What about all that?
What about
how come there's so many other religions and that yours is the only one that's true?
That's a question, not an argument.
Okay. Like I'm just trying to make a good point here. Like,
if you want to make a good point, so here's the thing. If you want to make a point, then you actually have to present an argument. Why does there being other religions in the world prove that one religion is false?
Because, how come your religion in this one area?
Yeah, you're answering my question with a question.
Okay.
Okay, so you say there's multiple religions, right? How does multiple religions prove that one of the religions is true? Or disprove, sorry.
Well, there's different explanations for how the world was created now.
That's another question.
How come you're the only one that's right?
Another question. There are multiple religions in the world. How does having multiple religions in the world disprove my religion?
I guess it kind of disproves all other religions, not just yours.
How does it do it?
Because they all kind of contradict each other now.
Yes, again, right? If it's the case that just one religion is true, right, then we have a true religion. But you're saying there's a whole bunch of false religions. So how does having false religions disprove the true religion?
Right. That's valid point.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, how about the free will argument? What do you think about that?
What free will argument?
The fact that supposedly God has given us free will, even though He knows what we're going to do.
Abby, you've been practicing this. You want to do it?
No.
We were practicing in the car the other day.
No, it's good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How does God knowing what we're going to do remove our free will?
Well, because if he knows what we're going to do, does that not mean he already has like our lives planned out?
How does
He's
that
all
follow?
knowing, right?
How does him knowing mean is planned? How do we reach that conclusion?
Because he knows what's going to happen next.
You know what a circular answer is?
What the what?
Do you know what a circular answer is?
No.
All right. A circular answer is when you're using your conclusion and your premise. You're saying that we don't have free will because God knows what we're going to do. And I ask, well, how do you know that him knowing takes away our free will? And you respond with, because he knows what we're going to do. That's the thing that's in question. Why does him knowing what we're going to do remove our free will?
I mean, what about God's plan? Because like whenever, let's say like a kid gets cancer or whatever, then is the explanation is that it's God's plan, right?
I never said that.
Well, not you specifically, but that's a pretty common argument that I hear.
Okay. Congrats.
Okay.
You seem like a nice guy, but I mean, like, you're
Look,
not.
I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to make a decent argument here, you know, because like I went to church for most of my life. Also, everyone's saying I'm 19, so obviously I'm not very experienced with all this, but just from what I have experienced so far in my life, I've just seen inconsistencies and things in my life that haven't provided a decent explanation for, you know, why God does exist and that his plan is more cruel than what is.
So what is the necessary conditions that would have to be fulfilled for you to be convinced that God exists and that he is good?
For God to be good,
no, not for God to be good, for you to be convinced of it. You said, I haven't seen enough to be convinced of it. Okay, then great. You should give me a standard on what would convince you.
What would convince me, I mean, like I said earlier, like kids getting cancer, people being tortured, all horrible diseases in the world. It's I think unjust because.
Okay, but that's not answering the question. What would convince you? You're just telling me all the reasons that you don't like God or you don't think he's real. What would convince you he is real and he is all good?
If God was all good, we would be living in a world without any war, no sickness.
Still not the question I asked you. What would convince you? You see there's an issue here. You're saying, I haven't seen enough to be convinced, but you don't even know the standard on the sufficient and necessary conditions to be convinced. So the problem might not be that there isn't enough evidence. The problem might be you don't even know what you're looking for, right? You can't say I'm not convinced elephants don't exist if you don't even know what you're looking for when you're trying to prove that an elephant exists. If you're looking under your fridge, I don't see an elephant there. Therefore, elephants don't exist, right? We need to know what are the necessary and sufficient conditions to convince you.
Yeah, that's a good point with the elephant thing. The thing is, it's like if God were all good and all loving, then you know I think it would be easy to see that in our world.
Based off what?
Compared to what we have today. What do you mean?
You're just saying if he is, then I would see. How do you know? How do you know? Like what are we looking for to confirm this theory?
How about the non-existence of evil? Because if it was
evil doesn't exist
loving,
in the first place.
Evil doesn't exist?
No, it's a privation of something. That's like saying darkness exists. Darkness doesn't technically exist. It's just the absence of light.
Well, then where does evil come from?
The absence of goodness.
Then is God not all loving? Is he not all good?
Mm-hmm.
He is all loving or not all good?
He is all loving. He is all good.
Well, then why is our world not perfect then?
What define perfect?
like without disease, without war, without
how is that perfect?
all these. I mean, obviously we're in a privileged position. We don't have to deal with war on a day to day.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, how is a world without war perfect? Like, what is your definition of perfect? You're just giving examples. I want a definition.
I mean, war creates suffering.
Okay, but that's an example. I want a definition. What is the definition of perfect here?
Perfect is like no pain, no suffering.
So perfect is no pain. So my bicycle is perfect because it doesn't experience pain.
Well, no.
Okay, so then that's not the definition.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I'm not giving a definition here, but I think you understand what I'm saying.
No, I don't. What I'm saying, what it seems like to be is like you have this motivist position. You see something that you don't prefer and you don't like. God doesn't take it away, therefore he doesn't exist. It doesn't logically follow.
But would God not like it either, though? Isn't that the whole thing? He doesn't like murders and rapists, but
you can't say those words. Don't say those words on the live.
Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he could also not like it, sure. But again, you're trying to make an argument that if he is all good and he's all loving, he's just going to wipe it out. What's the argument?
I guess for me, it's more just like, why would it exist in the first place?
That's not an argument.
Someone just said, Jesus can suffer, but not us.
Don't worry about the chat. Don't worry about the chat. I'm talking to you. The chat's not talking to you. If you want to talk to the chat, I can send you back down there. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I haven't been able to create so many different arguments. Like I said, I'm not.
It's fine, man. Like you're a nice guy. You're a nice guy. But what I'm trying to show you is that what I'm doing is like the Socratic method. I'm showing you that you don't actually have a standard to say that this is wrong. It's just an intuition. It's a feeling. It's a vibe. You're saying God doesn't exist because of a vibe and your preference and your feelings. It's not based in logic. It's not based in reasoning. It's not based in evidence.
I'm sorry, you cut out there for a second.
Your argument, what I'm trying to show you, it's the Socratic method, and I'm trying to show you that the reason you reject God is not because of reasoning, it's not because of logic, and it's not because of evidence. It's because of vibes. You don't vibe with this idea of God, so therefore he's not real.
Well, a logical standpoint, if you want to talk like science-wise, what about evolution? Do you believe in evolution? I'm sorry. It's a genuine question. Because if you want to talk about logistics and the science of things, because I don't mean to go purely off of just my vibes and my feelings here, but what about, like you said,
what about evolution?
The fact that we came from other species and
prove
that the world is billions of years old.
Okay, prove it.
That the world is billions of years old?
Prove that we came from other species and the world's billions of years old.
The world is billions of years old because, we can see different layers of the earth.
Show me.
You can go to the Grand Canyon, you can see layers
so
in the rocks.
I go to the Grand Canyon, I see a big hole in the ground, and I conclude what?
That the earth is billions of years old because...
How do I conclude that the earth is billions of years old? Because there's a big hole in the ground.
Because you can see the passage of water throughout that area, and you can see geological evidence.
How?
What do you mean? How?
What am I seeing? I see a hole in the ground. How am I drawing this conclusion that it's a passage of millions of years? How do I draw this conclusion?
Carbon dating. You can go
which is
to Antarctica.
How do I carbon date?
I'm not a scientist. I don't know.
Okay, so then why do you believe it?
Because I trust science more than I trust the Bible.
Why?
The Bible's inconsistencies.
No. Why do you trust science?
because there's more proof in the math
proof?
and the proof that the planet is old.
Yeah. What proof?
Like, I mean, I don't really know how to fight you here because like I don't know how to prove to you
Right.
that
So you're
something
trying to
old.
throw something at me to disprove my entire religion, which again has nothing to do with my religion, that you can't even substantiate or make an argument for or prove.
Well, look, once again, I'm not a scientist. I can't
Okay,
explain
so then
carbon
if you're
dating
not
to
a
you.
scientist, why do you trust the science?
There's more proof in it.
What proof?
Science is replicable.
Have you repeated it?
I mean, you could show people how the Grand Canyon was formed. Yeah.
Show me then.
If you pour water on sand, and then you take away sand around it, and then keep adding water.
So just to be clear, if I pour water on sand and I see the water creates like this hole in the sand, and then I look at the Grand Canyon, I assume it happens the same way.
I mean, not the exact same way, but you can replicate similar results.
Okay. All right, man. I appreciate your time. God bless.
Okay.
I would say read super chats, but there are none.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fine then. Then we'll have to play one of these songs and wait.
Toss a coin to your grifter. Big John.
Although people did send memberships.
Big John needs to pay his bills. Oh, toss a coin to your grifter.
You know, it's funny too, because when I was hanging out in the Discord last night, everybody was telling me I needed to up my super chant dono bar to 500, in which I respond, we already struggled to get 300, why would I do 500? And they're like, you should do it anyways. Here we are, struggling to get 300. I'm just saying.
After him with their toddler takes the kind of argument a concussion makes, while the mouth-breathing mass is smashed on their keys. He held out his hand, you owe me for these. Toss a coin to your grifter. Big John needs to pay his bills. Big John needs to pay his bills. Oh, toss a coin to your grifter. Big John needs to pay his bills. At the edge of his will came the knuckle-dragged horde, whose combined total IQ they still can't afford. They argued the earth was probably flat. He bills by the hour for suffering that. He wades through these cretins, these absolute wastes. If you won't
Dinos.
pay his rate, then take their place. That's his martyrdom, his glorious cross. Every idiot he endures goes on your tab, boss. Toss a coin to your grifter. Big John needs to pay his bills. Big John needs to pay his bills. Oh, toss a coin to your grifter. Big John needs to pay his bills.
Y'all ready for the drop?
Toss a coin to your grifter. Big John needs to pay his bills. Big John needs to pay his bills.
I don't think these shoes are it. My heels are starting to hurt. My hips feel like they're getting tighter.
Uh-oh. We'll have to maybe switch them.
I don't know.
My entertainment.
Thank you.
Oh, toss a coin to your grifter, a friend of humanity.
God bless you, brother. Thank you for spreading his love and his message. See y'all in heaven. Love y'all.
Thank you. This
that
person
sounded like
that sounded like a threat. I'm so sorry you're not getting. Oh,
Better days are coming.
thank you, thank you. This person says, "I'm so sorry you're not getting enough $300 super chats. The homeless pray for you." Well, if I don't get those super chats, I will also be one of the homeless. So yeah. I'm just as worthy as not being homeless as the other homeless people. All right, let's read them super chats that came in. Thank you for the gifted memberships. Thank you for the $3. Caller first tried Teletubby Land, the best evolution, best to evolution, then tried to say the inconsistencies in the Bible. Pete, that's what they do. They jump all over the place. Thank you for your donation. A bunch of fake fans out here shaking my head. Amen. 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 My entertainment fee. Appreciate you. God bless you, brother. Thank you for spreading his love and his message. See you all in heaven. That did sound like a threat. Yeah. Better days are coming. Oh, well, we'll see. We'll see. We can only wait and see what's going to happen. All right. Let's bring up the next guest. Thank you, guys. I'm literally going to fake being a Christian to get free money.
Whatever Gabe says, I am not a traitor.
Well, we don't know about that. Okay. Well, sure. You know what? Why don't you do it? I tell you what, why don't you do it? Fake being a Christian, spend a ridiculous amount of hours studying logic, philosophy, the scripture, the Bible, put more than full-time hours into it. And then go online and make, just a little bit more than minimum wage? Go for it. Fake being a Christian so you can do that. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm good. I'm 18.
Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Probably not, from what I've heard. But I've been a Christian. Well, I have been in the past. I've been raised Christian. But one thing I can't get past is the similarity between lots of different ancient cultures and religions across the world, with stuff like flood stories, virgin births of a son of God in multiple different countries before Christianity.
Yeah. Can you give me a source of like a 1-to-1 correlate of a virgin birth like Jesus before Jesus? I'd love to see that.
No.
No, doesn't exist.
No. Well, I could Horus in ancient Egyptology.
Show me the document of Horus and how it's a 1-to-1 correlate between Jesus and how it predates Jesus. Go ahead.
I probably won't be able to.
Yeah, because it doesn't exist.
What about flood stories then? Because that's 100% a big.
Well, okay, so I know of the flood stories, but let's see if you know, because you said this showed you doubt, right? Which specific flood story?
I'd go with the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Okay. What did the boat look like in the Epic of Gilgamesh?
I don't know enough to tell you.
It was a giant cube. It's a giant
cube.
Yeah, giant cube. Cubes can't float like that, right? So that's a reason to like disbelieve it. If there was a flood in the ancient Near East, which the Epic of Gilgamesh was written, would you not to expect to see multiple cultures write mythos based off of flood?
Yeah, I can understand that, but why would that equate to?
So you answer my question. You answer my question with a question. So would you expect to see multiple cultures write about a flood if there was a flood in that area?
If there was a flood, yes.
Yeah, great. So seeing multiple cultures in the Near East write about a flood and then seeing actual archaeological evidence that we had a flood disproves the flood?
Well, does the...
Are you going to answer my question with a question?
No, I'm saying, from what I'm aware, other cultures writing about floods like that predates Christianity.
Yes. No, can you answer my question?
Can you repeat your question? Because I'm pretty sure.
Appreciate your time. You're not paying attention. You're playing a game.
I am.
Yeah. Why should I give you my time and energy if you're not willing to give me yours?
I can stop and give you my.
Shame on you. Also, bro sounded like Moriarty.
Moxie the Mongoose. I don't think your mic's connected, but that's a heck of a name. All right. Mm-hmm. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Big John, how's it going?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 22. How old are you?
I'm 35. All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
I don't think I'll be able to, no. So if that's all we're going to talk about, then I could leave right now. But I mean, can you convince me to believe in Jesus?
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hey there, yeah, I'm 20.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
I don't think I can, but I was gonna ask you if you ever heard about the problem of inconsistent revelation before.
If God exists,
Hello?
God must
Oh, one
be
sec.
eternal to be God. There are no evil aspects, lies, etc., that are also eternal. All good aspects, truth, etc., are eternal. Therefore God must be good to be God.
Based.
Therefore, if God exists, God is good.
Based.
Hello?
All right. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
18.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
What would it take you to stop worshiping Jesus? What would convince you?
Yeah, a deductive argument that shows the probability of God's existence is so low it'd be irrational to hold it, or a reason to distrust Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Acts as a reliable historical method to confirm Jesus Christ's death and resurrection.
Okay. So, how would I go about this? So, do you believe the resurrection of Jesus happened?
I'm not going to dignify that with an answer.
No, so, blank in here?
I'm blanking.
Okay, well, do you have any historical evidence to support the Bible?
Yep.
All right. What piece of evidence should we talk about here?
It's your argument. You're here to convince me to stop worshiping Jesus. I'm not here to convince you to start.
Let's talk about Noah's Ark then, right? Is that a good argument?
What does that have to do with the gospel?
So, part of the Bible, correct?
Okay, watch this. I reject Noah's Ark as an actual historical event. It's just parabolic. Now what?
You reject it?
As an actual historical event, it's just parabolic.
All right, what does parabolic mean?
Means it's a parable. It's meant to derive a specific message in a story rather than being an actual event that happened. This would be, for example, Matthew Lynch's perspective when reading the global flood story, and he's a biblical scholar.
So, what was the message derived from this story?
Stop asking questions, give an argument.
All right, so if you can deduct certain pieces from the Bible as parabolic, why can't we deduct the resurrection of Jesus?
That's a question.
Well, I'm trying to use the Bible because I don't have any outside factor to reason with you here. I'm using the Bible.
So just real quick, I want everybody to remember this. Questions are not arguments. This is basic logic 101. Asking questions are not arguments. Questions are used to find holes in arguments or find inconsistencies in there or to get clarifiers, right? Are you asking clarifiers or are you trying to get me to a point where eventually I can't answer a question and you go, gotcha?
No, it's just about inconsistencies.
Okay, what are the inconsistencies and provide the argument?
Well, like you said, if you can deduct a certain piece of the Bible to be parabolic, how can we not deduct other pieces to
That's a question.
be parabolic?
That's a question.
Well, it's hard to come about it with actual facts when the Bible isn't a truth. It isn't an absolute fact.
Okay, but provide the argument that it's not true.
Okay, that's gonna be quite hard because I can't 100% sure say that God didn't spread his information to his disciples, but I'm gonna say using the Bible, and if certain pieces from the Bible can be metaphors, parabolic, or whatever you said, how can we deduct it as a whole to be a truth then?
That's a question.
This is not a faithful debate then.
It is a faithful debate. A debate, right? You're trying to derive an argument, right? You haven't given an argument, right? You're not asking clarifiers. You're not asking my position, right? You're saying, hey, what you're trying to do, and this is what a lot of people do when they're asking questions. They go, hey, I see this here, right? How do you do all these other things? And unless you can fully explain this, then I'm fully right to reject it. Now, if you can't if you can't figure out the means in reading a book and figuring out when some things are poetries and songs, that's not on me. That's on you. Right? Are you going to look at the Psalms in the Bible and say that those are all literal?
Well, the thing is, if we're going to, some people can
Answer the question,
determine.
please.
What question was it?
I'm not good faith. Just to be clear. That's the claim that you just made, right? Because I wasn't answering your questions, right?
Well, you're saying I can't answer your
Did you not just say watch how he's not answering the question again? Did you not just make the claim that I'm not arguing in good faith because I wasn't answering your questions?
That's not the reason why I said you weren't arguing in good faith.
So no, you didn't say that?
You're not accepting questions. I'm trying to ask you, you want me to convince you to stop worshiping Jesus, so I'm using your source of information.
Yeah, you can use my source as information. Sure, absolutely. Do you take the parables as literal? Or sorry, do you take the Psalms as literal?
Sure.
You take the Psalm, okay, God bless. Have a great day.
No way.
Okay.
All the little teeny boppers are out today.
The Psalms, the literal songs. Literally titled song of, we take those literal. Yeah, hyper literal. Gotcha.
Have a great weekend. Smiley face emoji.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best. No one's mad here, bro. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hello? Oh, hey, I'm on there. I'm 45.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
I believe so.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I believe it's pretty simple because I'm actually a Jesus lover myself. So himself said never to worship him. So why are you worshiping him in that sense?
Cool. Where did he say don't worship me?
Great work, Big John Steele.
Thank you.
Good bless.
It's in the don't treat me somehow like like the idols, like we treat idols, so not to worship him in that sense.
Where does he say? I didn't ask what it says. I asked where it says it. I can't hear you when you're out of the app, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
You might be looking for it.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying it just in case he's speaking it and he doesn't know.
In the meantime, Houston Euler said, "Do hills literally skip for joy? The Psalms say yes."
That's funny. Yeah, just remember, guys, I'm not arguing in good faith.
I don't think he knew what the Psalms were.
No. Well, then he should ask.
He was just having fun with you.
I don't think so.
He wasn't, man. All right, man. So what's the verse?
Sorry,
Where does it say it? Again, I can't hear you when you're out of the app. I'm not too sure if you know that.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can only hear you when you're in the app.
Okay. Sorry about that. So now, I believe the consensus would be that
you were supposed to bring me a verse where Jesus says, "Don't worship me." He's out of the app again. He's lucky there's no one else in the queue.
Will you be playing the new James Bond game?
Yes. That's the next game I'm waiting for to come out. That's why I'm putting money aside for. And I'm not buying these other games people are asking me to, because I will be buying that one next. All right, man. Appreciate your time. I can't wait forever. God bless.
Look at Bert. He's having the longest nap of life. He got up to adjust and then went back to sleep.
Friend of humanity. Hello, how are you? And just
Hello,
real quick, how
John.
are you?
I'm 21.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
I hope so, and I actually have an argument, unlike other people here.
Based. All right, let's hear it.
Okay, I want to see if we can agree on these premises. Firstly,
yep.
Can we agree that belief in God should be supported by logical evidence?
Belief in God should be supported by logical evidence. No, I don't agree with that. I think somebody can believe in God and come to that conclusion without using logical evidence and still be correct.
So then how do you come to the conclusion that belief is logical and makes sense?
Yeah, I'd say you either have a justification or you don't, right? I would say I have a justification using historical evidences and logic to come to the conclusion that Christianity is true. Hold on one second.
Toss a loin on your griller. Big John needs to eat a meal.
Thank you. But somebody can come to the conclusion that Jesus Christ is God and can be correct about that, but did not come to that conclusion using like logical means. So therefore they wouldn't have a justification. So they'd be correct, but they just wouldn't have a justification for their position.
But do you think it should, preferably be logical if you could justify it?
Well, I don't think you should argue for it without a justification. But again, a person can hold a position that's true without a justification for that position.
Okay, I have an argument for the first-hand testimonies of Jesus' miracles.
Okay, what's the argument?
Can we agree that the apostles who have witnessed his miracles had no material benefit for lying?
They had no material benefit for lying. There doesn't seem to be any evidence that they would lie or that they did lie.
Okay, so we can agree that it made sense to assume that they were telling the truth about Jesus' miracles, right?
Yeah, but we're probably coming to that conclusion through different reasons.
Okay, I want to call the apostles and the people who have directly witnessed Jesus' miracles as Group A, okay?
Okay, so Group A is people who had direct witness towards Jesus Christ's death and resurrection?
Yeah, firsthand.
Firsthand. So Group A, witness, JR. Got it.
And I want to call Group B everyone who lived hundreds of years after such miracles have been performed. For example, us right now. We simply hear stories about miracles. We don't witness them firsthand.
So Group B is people, Group A is people who witnessed it. Group B is those who did not.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Can we agree that the first-hand experiential evidence thank you. Can we agree that the first-hand experiential evidence provides a stronger epistemic advantage than second-hand testimony?
Well, it's not second-hand, it'd be first-hand testimony.
No, I'm talking about us. I mean, we have second-hand testimony. We're just hearing the stories about it.
We have first-hand testimony. We have the testimony of the witnesses in the scripture. But I would agree that testimony, like the testimony is going to be a weaker justification than a first-hand experience, sure.
Okay, that's good. We agree on that. So now what I'm trying to say is this, is that people who live now have weaker justification than people who lived then, which highlights the unfairness of the evidence quality.
That doesn't follow that it's unfair. How does that follow?
It's unfair because the people who lived back then, who witnessed the miracles firsthand, had a stronger epistemic advantage.
Yep.
In contrast to the people who live now.
Yeah. That has nothing to do with fairness.
No, it's unfair because how am I supposed to believe in a God when he gives me a disadvantage in epistemic?
Yeah, because you're
You get what I'm
also
trying to say?
yeah, because God also gives balance, right? So he says, for those that do not know, they will not be judged by the same standard. So there's a balance.
How does he give that balance?
Yeah, so it says in the Gospel of John, Jesus says they did not know, so therefore they wouldn't be held accountable for their sins. But now they do know, there is no reason to hold to it. I'm paraphrasing, but you get the idea. Paul says the Gentiles who do not have the law are law unto themselves with their own conscience bearing witness against them. So the apostles, right, when they are given Jesus firsthand and they witness everything, and they still have doubts, by the way, when they witness everything firsthand, they are held to a higher standard. Right? If they fall short, if they don't hold true, God is going to judge them much harsher than, say, me. So there is a fairness to it if we're talking about a salvation or a judgment. But people are justified in holding beliefs through testimony.
How can you prove that this balance is to be given?
I literally just made the argument.
Yeah, I heard you, but I mean, how can you prove that? Aren't we all judged on the same...
With the argument that I just gave. So steel man my position and tell me why I didn't provide that argument.
The argument of balance?
I just gave an argument on how it is fair. And you said, how do you prove that it's fair? Well, I did it with my argument. If you don't think it was sufficient enough to convince you, you have to give me a reason. Give me a symmetry breaker in my argument.
Well, my reason is my argument.
What?
That they had
Steelman? Okay, watch this. Steelman my position. Watch him not do it. Let's go.
What'd you say? Could you repeat that?
Steelman my position, right? You should know what a steelman is because you came in with premises. So steelman my position, my argument for fairness.
What's that? I don't know what that is, if I'm going to be honest.
You're using premises, but you don't know what a steelman is? You know what a straw man is?
No. I mean, I just got into logic a month ago, probably.
Okay, fair. A steelman is when you represent a person's position in a way they would say, yep, that is what I said. Can you steelman it?
So you want me? I don't get what that means. If I'm going to be honest,
I want you to tell me my argument that I just gave for fairness in a way that I would say, yes, that is the argument I gave.
Oh, so you want me to repeat your argument to you?
In a way where I'd say, yes, that is the argument I gave.
Okay, I got it. So what you basically, how I perceived your argument is that the people back then who have firsthand witnessed the miracles will be judged to a higher standard in contrast to us.
That's correct, yes. So then we have a balance, right? You're saying it's unfair because they saw it firsthand and we didn't get to see it firsthand. Well, God balances that out, right? He says, I will not judge me or you as harshly as those who know.
Yeah, but even then, what if someone does not believe due to the fact of that?
Nobody goes to hell for ignorance.
Captive?
Nobody goes to hell for ignorance.
How does that relate?
God's judgment, God's wrath upon us. What he cares about, right, is us being in a relationship with him. That's the important aspect. Nobody is going to go to hell simply because they don't have the firsthand experience or the knowledge, right? A mental position of that. Now, if we're talking about me being justified in my belief of Jesus Christ, the answer is yes, I am justified through testimony. People are justified to hold positions through testimony. You don't have to experience things firsthand to be justified to hold a position.
But don't you think it's unfair that some people witnessed miracles firsthand while others need to... No, I just think it's rationally speaking, even without talking about logic,
give me a symmetry breaker, not a question, right? I say, no, it's not unfair because God balances out in his judgment. He will judge those who know more harshly than those who know less. So therefore, there's a balance. He doesn't hold people who have the firsthand experience to the same standard of those who do not have a firsthand experience. So therefore, there is a fairness to it. Can you give me a reason why it's not fair?
I got that. Well, I don't think the burden of proof is on me. I think it's on you. How can you prove
No, the
that
burden of
God
proof
should
is on you,
give
because
us
if I
this?
give you a consistent argument on why something is fair and your only response is nah, then the burden on you is to show me why my argument doesn't work.
Yeah, your argument was that he would judge us to a lower standard in contrast to the people back then. That was your argument, right?
Yes. So why isn't that fair?
Because you didn't give proof for that. But you can't give proof for that.
Why isn't it fair?
Why isn't it fair that God should judge us to a lower standard in contrast to the other people?
If God knows that we know less, therefore he judges us less, why isn't that fair?
I'm not saying it's not fair, but I'm saying you can't
Okay,
prove.
so then it is fair.
Yeah, but can you prove it?
Prove what?
Prove that he would be judging us to a lower standard in contrast to the first-hand witness.
It's an eternal critique. That is the position Christians have. That is what the scripture says. Are you doing an eternal critique or an external critique? Because this is what happens. Everybody comes up and they point at Christianity. They say there's an eternal contradiction. And when I show them there's not a contradiction, they just respond, well, you can't prove God's real anyways. So what are we doing? Are we doing which one? Which conversation are we having?
I don't know
Hello?
either.
I can't hear you, man. You're cutting out. You got to get close to your Wi-Fi.
Say I know.
Then you're already up. Hello?
Hello?
All right. Appreciate you, man. You've lost connection.
Oh, can you hear me?
You keep cutting in and out. Doubting Thomas. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you? Hello? Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
21.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Nah, man, I just love Josh Allen. Best QB.
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hello?
Yeah, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hello?
All right. Doubting Thomas.
Hello,
Hello,
hello.
how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How old are you?
Cool. Yeah, I'm 28.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Well, I can certainly try.
Okay.
So I'm going to assume that we're going to just leave the question of God's existence. Let's leave that question completely out of this. My thought is, I mean, Jesus, historically speaking, pretty swell guy. Can't say that's wrong if the things that are quoted in the Bible are true. But there's no proof for his divinity. Like the writings of the Bible weren't done by his apostles. Like they weren't, the author of the book of Mark wasn't there. The book of Mark was authored, I think it was like 80 years after the existence of Christ.
Okay.
So, like,
So
this
so
person
let's pause. Can you prove to me that Matthew didn't write Matthew?
hold on. me see if I can find where I read that. Hang on. I know you won't be able to hear me when I exit the tab, so just give me.
No, if you're on this app, I will be able to.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, are you cool with me using the AI overview, or do you want me to find further sources?
Read whatever you want to read, man.
So I mean, the AI overview is giving says it's estimated that the book of Matthew was written between 75 AD and 90 AD.
Yeah. All right. Can you prove to me Matthew didn't write it?
I mean, certainly there might be a man named Matthew who wrote it.
The apostle of Jesus Christ.
One moment. It's hard to prove a negative. Let's see.
That's actually not a negative. That's a positive.
The word "not" is it? I'm not going to get semantic with you.
It's not semantics. That's syntax.
I mean, can we not assume that based on the years of which that it was written, right? People's lifespans were not as long then as they are now.
It's not true.
So people were living till 90 back then, possibly.
Yep. Yeah, they were. The reason that the average is in the middle is because there are much more infant deaths.
I see. Okay, yeah, infant mortality does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'm not entirely sure.
I lost you.
I will be able to convince you of this, but I think I will definitely do some more research and come back another time. I like doing this kind of stuff, so I'll try to be back.
All right, man. God bless.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Hello, how are you?
My gosh.
Wow. All right. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Hey, I'm 29.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Well, I wanted to ask you, why do you worship him?
Because he's the way, the truth, and life, and no one gets to the Father except through him.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Because he is the way, the truth, and the life, and no one gets to the Father except through him. Hey, man, if you want to have a conversation, we'll have a conversation. If you're doing household chores or whatever, come back a different time.
Sorry about that. I was just washing my hands. Man, dude, it's where did you read that, or do you just you that's what you believe by your own?
That is what the scripture says.
And you believe the scriptures just outright?
Why shouldn't I?
Well, why should you believe anything you read?
That's a question.
So if you were to read a bunch of fiction books, you're gonna believe them?
Nope, because they're fiction books. You already substantiated that they're fake. Can you substantiate that the Gospels and Acts are fake?
I'm honestly, I don't know anything about that stuff. I'm not like I don't read into stuff that I don't believe. But
okay, well, is there anything else then?
Yeah, I mean, I want to know why do you just believe it? Why?
Okay, well then go watch my last live or my live before that or many of my other videos on the reasoning behind. But today's topic has convinced me to stop worshiping Jesus. And yeah, you can go find issues and then maybe bring up an argument against that. But yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, man.
Hey, man. God bless. As a matter of fact, go watch my debate with Junior. That would be a good reason. All right, there's all my evidence. So here's the thing. For those that are watching that might be new here, everybody always asks why you, and I always repeat the historic reporters model historic. I keep it on repeat. Always, 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 always. And it's whether or not they're convinced, right? I want to take the position here. Well, okay, you keep telling me I shouldn't be a Christian. Give me a good, solid reason why. Give me a good reason. I want to know. And so far, we haven't seen anybody actually provide any argument on why we should reject our faith.
You should read Super Chats.
Okie doke. There is none.
Yeah, there are.
Nope.
You didn't read them.
Toss a loin to your griller. Yeah, these were
there
red.
was like a bunch of $20 ones that came in.
Yeah, they were all red. There's no new ones.
I don't believe you.
You can see it on my screen. They're all there. There's no new ones. Which is fine. We've reached our goal for the day.
Whatever you say.
If you see one there, you can read it. He respects his wife, I'm sure. I don't know. Ask her. What do you think, Abby?
I'm pretty respected. Pretty well respected.
Do you feel respected in this household?
I do.
Are you sure that you're not just saying that because you're afraid that once the cameras are off, I'm just going to start beating you?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
18.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Can I tell you two things?
He's not 18.
Okay. I'll take Abby's intuition on it. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Big John, how you doing? 33?
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus? I feel like we talked today. Didn't we already talk today?
No.
Okay.
We have not. I've never spoken to you before.
Okay. Go ahead, man.
Big John, can I ask you a question, brother?
Is it relevant?
Yes, very relevant.
Okay. But if it's not, I'm going to remove you. Is that fair?
Yeah, of course, but it's relevant. Why would you be looking for anyone to stop trying to convince you to stop worshiping your faith, and especially Jesus? Like,
no, it wasn't relevant. He admitted it was fair.
People don't understand the
People don't know how to read basic
goal.
prompts or the rhetorical goal. Rhetorical goal here is that, hey, Christians, you don't really have to go out there and people like ask you 1,000,001 questions and you have to have every answer to your faith. Sometimes people have to come to you and say to you, hey, these are reasons that you should reject your faith. Right? They don't just get to assume the default position and be right. It wasn't relevant, man. And you don't get to come back up. We might end it. I feel like we went through all the
John's
guests.
not like having a crisis of faith and is like, oh, please convince me. Like, that's not what's happening. So we don't need the Christians to come up here. Like, John, don't leave. It's okay.
No, I'm just doing reverse lack theism, because there's a whole bunch of lack theists out there that go, you convince me that Jesus is real, and unless you provide them like every possible objection that they could, they're just going to say, nope, Jesus is not real. I don't believe him. I'll just do the opposite. Why? I'm convinced he is real. Provide me a reason not to.
Look at Bert.
Yeah.
No, look at, oh, he moved. He was like a snail. He's so cute.
Yeah. Because sometimes my computer does that, just disconnects and
I think I
reconnects
have it.
over and over again. I might have to restart my computer again because it might just start doing. I don't know why it does that. Oh, and it only ever does that when I'm live too. It never does that when I'm just chilling. It's just when I'm live it starts doing that. Does the on and off thing.
Oh,
So-
they said they were back.
Yeah, I saw that. We're
Oh,
back,
okay.
Yeah, I was just yapping.
Did Bert break the stream? It's because you've been gone, Major John.
But I want to know why that happens on my computer, though. Like, just my computer specifically. Like, if your computer did, it wouldn't be an issue. But my computer just, like, disconnects, reconnects. And that only happens when I'm live. Never happens when I'm doing anything else. All right, we'll take another guess and see if it starts to happen again.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm hungry.
Hi, hungry. I'm John.
I'll have some chicken noodle soup.
Am I
Hello. Hello. How are you? Oh, hello.
Hey, how you doing, man? How you doing, man? I apologize, but I just want to know who would want to try to convince you to stop worshiping Jesus, man. That's who you worship. That's who.
Why is he still talking? I removed him. Oh, that person didn't even connect. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Oh, hey there. I'm in my 40s. How you doing today?
Good, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yeah, I could try.
Okay, hit me.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Come on. Dude, come on.
Good argument.
This is a funny guy.
I gotta stop.
You got to get your Wi-Fi fixed and then try again.
Hi, what's up?
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm good. I'm above 30.
All right, man. Can you? Well, I need an age.
Come again?
I need an age, like an actual number.
An age? Yeah. Yes, I'm above 30.
That's a number that you are in a range of. I need the actual number.
Why are you taking my government ID, or you want a discussion?
Bro, asking your age is not the equivalent of asking for your ID. You need to calm down.
You just need to get
It's
the number, man.
People think that they're gonna come up with like username 8124 and say they're 32. I'm gonna figure out who they are.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. Last chance. Let's see if your Wi-Fi is working. If not, we're not going to try again. I didn't press the guy who said he was over 50. Well, I'm inconsistent sometimes. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Must have been because I was running from that person. I had no clue who he was.
He was also like, you can kind of tell by their voice.
That was racist, Abby.
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Universe does not want me on here. I'm 37.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping
Okay,
Jesus?
yeah, the universe does not want me on here for some reason. No, I wouldn't even try to, man. That's crazy that people would even try to. But, you know, I'm not even trying to get a taco. I'm in prison. I can't get no taco if you got it. But
Who let the trolls out?
That's why he's having issue with his internet. Ryan, hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Hi, I'm 35.
Hi, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
I can try. How would, as far as speciation goes for like all the animals on the planet, is there any, like, is evolution a good explanation to like try to combat the idea of ideology or something like that? If I don't know if I'm wording that right.
There are evolutionary theists that are also Christian and believe in evolution. So I'd say the answer is no.
Well, if I was to argue with an evolutionary theist, I would say that it would kind of be a contradiction that like God created man and woman, and evolutionists would believe that speciation happened through
Okay, well,
different factors.
Then go argue with one of them.
Okay,
You say that
okay.
the question you asked is like, does it debunk the religion? And I say, well, this is how these people exist, and they have argumentation for it. I'd say no.
Well, as far as what would you say? Like,
I have no reason to believe in evolution.
okay, is so as far as evolution goes, there's like evolution combines multiple fields to prove its theory. So like geology like the fact that we found bones deep within the earth and also in mountains. Geology shows that there's species that existed before man.
What a wonderful story.
But okay, so you're calling a story because you don't consider it evidence or
What
as a
evidence did you
fact.
what evidence did you provide?
I think like I don't want to say I believe, but I guess I would have to say that I believe that the fossils that
What
we
fossils?
found, like the ones in the Museum of Natural History,
Which specific
all those,
fossils?
just like dinosaur bones, like all
Which
the
dinosaur bone?
So in the Museum of Natural History, they have I think it's the one with the long neck. They have that dinosaur.
Okay. I should reject the Bible because in the Museum of Natural History, there's a dinosaur with a long neck.
No, I'm just saying like this field of geology that evolution uses. It's a big field, and they don't really say like animals. No geologist would say believes in evolution. They believe in their what they find, and what they find is that throughout time there are animals that existed that don't line up with the creation story. So even if we're not using evolution, we could use geology.
This is a wonderful story.
Okay. So, but when you say that's a wonderful story, that you're what you're saying is that that's not sufficient enough for you to. I'm not saying disprove. I'm just saying like this would contradict in the creation story.
What's
the creation story? The creation story that man and woman were created.
What would contradict it? You haven't provided anything that's a contradictory
No,
statement.
I know. I'm just trying to show you the contradiction. That man and woman were created, and all these animals happened, and then we have geological evidence that say there
You
were
have
animals
geological
that
evidence? Yeah, so you have geological
Yes.
evidence that shows that man and woman were created? Show me.
Well, in geology they use two methods, absolute and relative. As you dig deeper, this is relative data. As you dig deeper, the things you find on the top surface are going to be younger, and the deeper you go,
It's again a wonderful story.
No, but this is not a story. This is just a method, a relative. I'm trying to explain a method.
So if I dig deep in the ground, I know that those things are older and older. How old do I know? How old are they, and how do I know this?
Well, so for instance, like when a mountain rises up from the ground, you don't necessarily have to dig. A mountain rises up, that would show you sediments, different layers of the earth's and the time frame. And we could also
you keep telling me what.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
asking how. How do you know?
Oh, because in the rocks you'll see different layers, and within each
Okay,
layer,
in an onion, I see different layers. Does that mean if I go deeper in the onion, it's older?
you can make that argument, like the earth,
So
like
then,
you could say the
onion,
core.
then the onion is millions of years old.
No, you have to use the onion relative. So if the onion took 50 days to grow, you could say, in the first 10 days and 30 days, and then each layer we can make an argument there.
Okay, so if
So
I take the math on how,
so
if I take the math and how long it takes for an onion to grow, and then I compare it to the Earth, I'm going to get billions of years.
You would get it. You would have to use it relative. So if the Earth take billions of if the Earth takes billions of years to make, then you would see not billions, maybe not, but you would see layers. Like you could go as far as back as the Earth will show you.
So I'm sorry, I'm just not convinced that I see layers. Therefore,
well, that's one. So before we had like modern science technology, like early archaeologists would use relative data. So like, and now we have absolute data.
You keep
which
telling
is
me
able-
these beautiful stories, but you keep not showing me any data.
No, these are not stories. These are methods of the story would be like they found fossils in Colombia next to the Andes Mountains when the mountains rose up.
Okay, so then
that's
what's
a story.
the method?
The method is absolute and relative data. Well, this is just geology, like there's every field has their own method.
That's a wonderful story. What's the method?
The method is relative and absolute dating. So in the beginning they did relative, and then now scientists use absolute, which they then are able to like
Great story.
count the.
What is the method that they're using?
These are the methods. It's relative.
You're giving
So
me
if you-
the titles of these
Mhm.
methods. You're not telling me the method.
The actual relative dating is just looking and observing at like sediments and dooms, and an absolute dating
Okay,
is
so
looking at the
all right.
okay.
So a bunch of scientists looked at the layers of the Earth and went, "Yep, billions of years." How did they conclude billions of years?
Well, okay. So then, so that was the early beginning of geology, and then once we got to like a molecular level, we were able to extract.
You're not answering the question. You're kind of frustrating.
I know,
me
but
now.
I'm saying, well, they have to. Okay, so let's just change the because obviously geology is not good enough in the
You
in
haven't
the
provided
field.
any geology. You just said they did it.
What do you mean they did it? Like
That's all you've said so far. Scientists did this. How? How did they do it?
Well, they excavate a site, then they carbon
they dig
date
it
if
up.
there's
How does carbon dating
organic
work?
material. Carbon dating works relative to the decaying carbon, and they can time it, but not. But like
How?
fossils are not carbon. Fossils are not. They don't have any carbon because they're all gone. So then they have to like uranium
Okay,
date
but
those.
how do they do it? Like what's the methodology? How does a scientist dig up a chunk of dirt, look at the carbon, and say, "Yep, this carbon is this old"? Like
They look at the decaying of the atoms and how the rate of which it decays. So once again, organic matter has a decay rate of
but
like I don't know the exact.
how
They Yeah.
Well, you keep telling me what? I'm asking how.
I feel like I'm answering. Okay, I'm trying to how they do it. So when it comes to relative dating, how you would do it is you would go look at a site. You would able to see the sediments in the earth. Like if you go to a dune, like when the rain and the rain washes away, and then you're able to see now that the earth doesn't come up, it kind of goes down, and you can see the rock layers in there. And that's how you go there. You observe it. You extract data.
I've seen hoodoos. I looked at the hoodoos. I didn't conclude that the Earth was millions of years old by looking at hoodoos. How do they do it?
How do they do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would definitely have to ask a geologist on.
Okay, then why should I believe you?
It's not me that's saying this. It's the
okay. So
the geologist.
then your evolution is not debunking my religion, is it? Because you don't even know if it's true or how it works. Why should I hold it to be true?
Well, I know the methods they use, and I once again,
you don't. I've asked you several times how the methods that they use, and you just give me some vague title to the method. You don't actually give me the method.
Yeah, because I don't do chemical breakdowns and like I don't have.
Mm-hmm. Well, so you're just taking them on their word.
I'm saying, well, it's not me. Other institutions look at them, and then we all come to a collective.
Yeah,
yes.
they all agree. So therefore, you're just taking them on their word. Ad populum fallacy.
A populace? No, because it's not their word. It's the evidence they're. So, like for instance, if you
keep saying like, it's the evidence they're producing, and I ask you to produce the evidence, and you haven't. Where is it? Show me this evidence.
No. What I'm trying to answer directly what you said about how they all believing. No, they don't just believe. They take this. They do the exact same experiments.
Who's they?
Like other institutions that
what
might
institution?
Have. So if there is like an American Geology Association,
if there is there an American Geology Association?
I don't know any. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure there is. I just don't know the names.
So those guys over there somewhat probably did.
Those guys somewhere. Yeah. Those guys, yes.
Yeah, them.
I just don't know the name.
Yeah, them has proved it.
So that like. Yeah, it's not a them. It's an institution.
Which institution?
I don't know. Like the Museum of Natural History is an institution that would support these arguments.
The museum. A museum did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How?
Yeah, a museum funds projects.
Which
and
scientist
stuff like
in the museum? How did they do it? What did they show you? Which peer-reviewed paper did you read to conclude this? And what was the data points?
Yeah, I didn't read no peer-reviewed paper.
Okay, then why do you believe it?
Well, because this is common geology. Like if I wanted to get in the field of geology,
I just want to be clear, man. You believe in evolution
Yeah.
because you've never read any of the data points or the peer-reviewed papers, but those guys over there said it was true.
No, I believe in evolution because I've read multiple things. Like for instance,
What did you read?
Like Meldon's P dot experiment. Like we've done like Punnett squares where you get
So
color variation.
which paper is Meldon's P dot experiment?
I didn't read Meldon's P dot experiment.
Okay, so then you didn't read it.
You just said you read it.
I didn't. We performed his experiment.
You were there?
Yeah, college. We all of us in college. We performed.
Okay, so
Punnett
you
square.
performed this experiment. What did you do?
Yeah, we showed recessive genes and dominant
That's
genes.
a conclusion.
And how
What did you do?
we put the recessive gene, which is
Which gene? What's a recessive gene? Where did you find it?
It was given data.
So did you have the gene, or did somebody give you data for a gene point?
No, you can look. So in the beginning, before we could get in molecular, you would look. Like for instance, if a yellow flower.
Look where
and a white
you
flower.
said you did this
You'd look at
experiment.
the-
How did you do it? What's the first thing you did?
I'm
So
saying
you walk into school. They're like, we're gonna hold on. You walk
Okay,
into the school. They're like, we're gonna do this dot experiment. Okay, you
Yes.
say, all right, let's do the dot experiment. Okay.
Yes.
From that, what was the very next thing you did?
Hypothetically.
No, you just said you did the experiment. What was the very next thing you did?
I was given the data, but
So you didn't do the experiment.
Okay. So if I didn't do the experiment, but we were given
Then
the
why'd you
data.
say you
said you did, man. And you said you read it.
No, I didn't.
What is happening?
Yeah. I said I was given the data to do the experiment.
So you didn't do
So
the
the
experiment.
Did you do the experiment?
I was
or did you not?
I was given the data.
What data?
The data was
What data?
the data was the flower colors.
What data? Flower colors. Okay, so somebody
Yeah,
told
so
you a
if-
flower was yellow. Then what'd you do?
Yes. So then you take a yellow flower
So
and a white flower.
did you? No, you
Yes.
would or did you? I want to know what you did
I'm
in this
saying-
experiment.
All I did, the data was given. The white flower and the yellow flower.
Okay,
That's
so
all
you
the data I
didn't
was
you
given.
didn't do an experiment. You're lying to me.
But this is okay. I am lying if you're phrasing me in the way that I.
I am lying if you're saying I'm saying I did things and didn't.
All right, we'll do a few more and then we'll end it.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello. How are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm 19 years old.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yes. So my question is from a poem from Ibn al-Qayyim.
What?
I get Ibn al-Qayyim. His name is Ibn al-Qayyim. I'm a Muslim.
Okay, so are you here to convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Yes.
Okay. What's your argument?
When your God died, okay, the people that killed him.
You guys, I just want you guys to know. I want you guys to know. When I hang out in Christian communities on the side, none of us actually treat these Islamic objections seriously. Like we laugh and giggle at it.
Okay.
I want you guys to know.
طيب.
Yeah.
Okay. When your God was crucified, did he want to be crucified or not?
That's a question, not an argument. I'll try again.
Okay, answer me. طيب. If he wanted to be crucified, then the people who crucified him.
Questions are not arguments. Do you have an argument?
How is a question not as an argument?
Yeah, questions are questions, not arguments. They're a different category. A question is with the intent to receive knowledge, or you can even use the Socratic method to find holes in things. Arguments are used to derive conclusions. You're trying to derive the conclusion here to convince me to stop worshiping Jesus, but you're asking a question.
Listen, when your God was crucified, the people that crucified him was doing his willing, right? So they did a good thing, not a bad thing, in your logic.
Based off,
God
yeah. So based off what? How does that follow?
If you do the willing of God, then you did the right thing. Can we agree with this?
Yeah, if you do the will of God, you did the right thing, sure.
Yes. So the people that crucified Jesus, was they doing the willing of God, or they did
that's a question.
something that God didn't want?
That's a question.
Okay, خلاص. They did the willing of God, so they did a good thing, right?
Okay, can you show me that they're doing the will of God?
If God doesn't will it, then it cannot happen. Can God? Can something happen?
Okay, so in
without
the
God
Bible,
willing it?
great. So in the Bible, it says God wills for all people, like He desires for all people to come to the knowledge of salvation. But do all people come to the knowledge of salvation?
This is a wish, not a willing. A willing is something
That
happen.
is part of God's
يعني
will.
مثلا an example.
So are you saying God's desires? He cannot will His own desires. Is that what you're saying?
No, he can do it, but it's his يعني.
Okay. So if God can will His own desires, and He desires all people to come to the knowledge of salvation, but not all people come to the knowledge of salvation, then therefore it logically follows there are things that can go against God's will.
No, this is His desire. His desire is to everyone to شو اسمه salvation على قولتك يعني.
Yeah. Can you just repeat my argument?
To the point. No, I can't repeat it. My English isn't very good. لا,
So I'll try. So again, if God desires for all people to come to the knowledge of salvation, and God can will His own desires, but people don't come to the knowledge of salvation, then it logically follows that people can go against God's will.
Okay, but that's something on the people, not something يعني directly written. You understand me يعني?
Nope.
How can I explain this? It is a choice. God gave us free will to do our choice, to believe in Him or no.
God putting Jesus on the Christ.
Let me finish,
No, I'm just going to answer your question because you don't want to give an argument. You want to do the question. So God put Jesus on the cross, taking into account what people would do if He put Jesus in this situation. So yes, it is God's will to go on the cross, but He's not forcing people to put Him on the cross. They do that out of their own free will, and what they're doing is something evil. So what you meant for good, what you meant for evil, God intended for good. This is what happens when Joseph gets sold into slavery, right? It's not good for them to sell their brother into slavery, but even though they did so, God used these evil means to derive His will.
But it's not the same thing. Jesus is God to you, of course, yani. So, God directed these people to crucify Him.
Nope.
Yes.
No.
They crucified
I just gave an argument why that is not the case. And all you did was say they did.
God?
Yes, they overpowered God. Yep.
So your God is not almighty.
No, that doesn't logically follow either.
No. If bunch of Romans can get your God and kill him, is your God all powerful?
Yes.
No. Okay, طيب. No, of course not. Okay, wait, طيب. When your God died for 3 days, right? Okay. Who was يعني?
Who was running the planet? God.
No way.
Yes, who?
Yeah, God.
God. So there is two gods, not one.
No.
Right?
The same God that died is the same God that ran the planet.
Okay. I mean, يعني, you just not saying no. You're not saying يعني the reason. No. Yes. Oh, God get overpowered, killed by a bunch of Romans. Yes. Okay. You're not giving me the reason. Okay. Yes, he's over. I can say the same thing.
You didn't ask for a reason.
How can I not ask you a reason? أنا أعطيتك I give you this and you try to debunk it. Not saying no. Debunk that God.
You're not providing an argument. You're making conclusions. What do I have to debunk?
Then when John answers, you just go, no.
Arguments.
Questions are not arguments, no.
How can you argue with someone without questioning him.
Yeah, you use questions to derive their positions or show holes in their positions.
Okay,
right?
I asked you.
But that's not what you're doing. You're just saying conclusions and saying debunk it.
Okay, طيب, you say convince me to stop worshiping Jesus. I give you a conclusion. You debunk it.
That's not how it works. Allah is a false prophet. Debunk it.
What?
Allah is a false prophet. Debunk it.
Allah is not a prophet. He is a God.
Yeah, Muhammad, sorry.
Oh, okay, Muhammad. It's easy. In the Quran, first thing, Muhammad was illiterate. He cannot write. He cannot. Yes.
No.
So how did? Okay, wait.
I'm just using your argumentation. No.
Okay, طيب. So Muhammad wasn't, يعني, didn't know to write. He wasn't man of science. يعني, he didn't know about things. But in the Quran,
No.
specifically,
The answer is no.
he mentioned.
No, Muhammad didn't know how to read. He wrote the Quran, so therefore he knew how to read.
If you excuse me, I said you saying no, not me saying no. You are.
I'm
the
using
one
your
saying,
argument. When I gave you an explanation, you just said no. Right? So I did give you an explanation. I gave you a justification. You just said no. So now I'm asking. Now I'm showing you the issue with your argument. You said Muhammad didn't know how to read or write. I'm saying no. He did.
You didn't give me an explanation. You just said.
Yeah. So here's my argument. Here's my argument. A man that writes a book knows how to read and write. Muhammad wrote the Quran. Therefore, Muhammad knew how to read and write.
No.
There's an argument.
Muhammad didn't write.
Notice I provided an argument. All he said was no.
لا, Muhammad didn't write the Quran. The one who written it are the companions. Muhammad didn't know how to write.
Okay, prove it.
You want me to get you authentic hadith?
Hadiths that come 200 years after Muhammad. Why should I trust those?
No, because there is a particular science in Islam.
Okay, give me the scientific method on how it proves that we can trust texts that come 200 years after a person.
So first, the religion started with the Sahaba and the Prophet.
Yeah, why should I believe that?
And
yeah, you need to give me. You said there's a science in Hadith. What is the science? What is the scientific method?
I'm not running from your question, but I came here to talk about Jesus, not to talk about Islam. To be clear, I am not now at my age and my study able to talk about Islam. So I want to talk about Jesus.
Okay, then fine. That's fine. We'll go back to talking about Jesus, but you cannot use any sort of argumentation that you refuse to answer that I gave you for Islam.
Could you repeat what you said?
You can't use the argumentation that I gave you towards Islam back on me on Christianity because you can't answer the questions. So why you shouldn't expect me to?
Because you are the one that asked me to convince you to stop about Jesus, not me. I didn't come to you convince me to stop
what I'm doing is
Islam.
I'm challenging your epistemology. I'm seeing if you're consistent in the way you approach things. And if you're not willing to do that for yourself, then it's unfair that you do it for me.
He's been voted off the island.
Yeah, sure. You want to ask me about Islam? Okay, but I can't give you a hadith. I'm not I don't have a lot of knowledge. Because it's narrated from the Sahaba to their sons,
Okay, prove it.
The thing, it's been documented. I cannot bring up now a documented.
Who documented it?
By the people.
Which
by
people?
The people who was living in the era.
What people?
First.
Them? Those guys over there? So we should believe Islam because those guys over there said so?
No, the Sahaba.
No.
The companion
Sahaba?
of the one closest to Muhammad. I will name you a few. Aisha, radiallahu anha.
Show me Aisha's writings.
I can't. I just told you I cannot.
Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Good. How you doing? I'm 60 years old.
All right, man. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Sure. I'm just gonna give you a few text from the Bible. So if you just help me with reading the text, I'm gonna give you the verse and the number.
Yeah, but
So if you go to Mark,
let's start with the argument first before we go through the data. What's the argument?
so the argument is: did Jesus mentioned anywhere in the Bible that he is a God? Worship me.
No.
Did the disciple knew or they knew about him that he is the God?
Yes.
Did Mary? Okay, we'll go one by one. So the third question: did Mary?
Those
the
are
mother of
questions. What's the argument? I gave you clarifying questions. What's the argument?
Sure, we'll go to the. That's why I'm answering you. Proof from the Bible. So
what's the argument?
That's what I'm saying. If you allow me to say,
no. What you're trying to do is you're trying to go through the data for the argument first. What's the argument?
Because Jesus never say, "I'm a God, worship me."
Okay. Are you Muslim?
Yeah.
Okay. Where does Jesus say, "I am the Messiah"?
Where in the Bible, you mean?
In the Quran. Where does he say in the Quran, "I am the Messiah"?
Let's put the Quran aside. We'll talk about it
No.
later.
I want to see if you're consistent, right? Your issue is that you shouldn't worship Jesus because Jesus never said, "Worship me." Well, in the Quran, he never says, "I am the Messiah," but you think he's the Messiah. So are you consistent or no?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So where in the Quran does he say, "I'm the Messiah"?
You want me to give you the verse, you mean?
Yeah. Where in the Quran does Jesus say, "I am the Messiah"?
إنما المسيح عيسى ابن مريم. Most certainly,
no one speaks
Jesus
Arabic
the
here.
Son of-
I'm going to boot you if you just start doing
That's-
Arabic.
I'm
What's the
translate.
verse? I don't
I'm
need you
gonna
to.
translate.
You just translate.
I'm
You
gonna
don't. You
translate.
just translate. You don't need to do the Arabic first.
Have Christus Rex. Don't lose motivation to continue spreading the message that Christ is King. Remember to stay humble, brother.
Thank you. Yeah. No one here knows Arabic. You don't need to recite it. Just give us the English.
That's fine. The things is like, now we're talking about Jesus in the Bible. Why we moved to the
So where in the Quran does Jesus say, "I'm the Messiah"?
Most certainly, Jesus, the son of Mary. I have
Without
to
lies,
say in
Islam
Arabic
dies,
with
ladies
this
and
one.
gentlemen. You say that to believe Jesus Christ is God and he must be worshipped, he must say himself must say that I am God and worship me. But then you also believe that Jesus Christ is the Messiah, but Jesus never says I am the Messiah in the Quran. So are you consistent?
Yes, I am. But let's talk about
Okay,
the
then
Bible.
show
Forget
me in
about
the Quran where he says I am the Messiah.
No. I'm not showing you the topic.
I'm not moving past. I'm not moving past this.
Why?
Because you're a liar. Because you're a liar.
No, I'm not a liar.
Yes, you are a liar. Then why do you believe Jesus is the
12,
Messiah?
28.
Where does he say I am the Messiah?
You're not allowing me to say anything.
You're not giving me the verse in the Quran where Jesus says I am the Messiah. Why do you believe he is the Messiah?
You're not listening to me.
You're not answering the question. You're inconsistent. And you're lying. You're a liar.
Can you? No. You're a liar, man.
I'm going to prove. I'm going to prove to you you're a liar. Are you ready?
Let me talk.
I'm going to prove that you're a liar. I'm going to prove it. No, I'm not going to let you talk. I'm not going to let you talk. I'm not going to let you talk. I'm going to prove. I'm going to prove that you're a liar.
He is not a god. No. If you go to Mark chapter 12, verse 28, 29.
So we're going to kick you for a second. You can take a breath and you can come back up. But I'm going to prove that you're a liar. You're saying, hey, to believe that Jesus Christ is God, Jesus must say, I am God, worship me. But then you believe that Jesus is the Messiah, but he never says, I am the Messiah. So therefore you have a logical inconsistency and therefore you're arguing in bad faith and you're a liar. So come back up, but I want you to show me that Jesus Christ said, I am the Messiah, or concede the fact that this isn't an argument that one must say something to be something. That's a silly argument. If you spam, you'll get banned. That's your fair warning. You can disagree, but if you spam, you'll get banned. So do you want to come back up? Okay. I gave you a warning. Giving you opportunity to come back up, man. You got to click the join button. Going once. Going twice. No, you did not. See? Notice how Muslims lie. All right. I wonder if this is the junior. Is this the junior?
Yes, it's Junior. How are you?
No, it's not the junior. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I know I'm good. I'm good.
All right,
So why should you
how
stop
old are you?
worshiping in God?
How old are you?
I'm 18. I'm 18, turning
All right,
19.
all right. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Exactly. I have just one critical point. If you need Christianity to make you a moral human being, then I don't believe in the religion itself. Because now, certain people, like if we not have Christianity, for example, certain people would have been awful human beings. But just the fact that they have now Christianity and they have something that's telling them what to do, then they ought to be moral because they don't want to go to hell or whatever.
Yeah, what's
so
wrong with
I
that?
feel like,
Yeah, hold on, just pause. What's wrong with
no,
being
I'm
hold
saying-
on. What's wrong with being moral simply because you don't want to face the consequence of hell?
No, I'm saying if you need religion to make you a moral human being, then I do believe that religion in itself is wrong. Because why can't you be a good human being without not having something?
You're not answering
to
the
guide
question.
you?
What's wrong with being a moral person simply because you want to avoid hell? What's wrong with that?
Because I feel like it's a way. It's religion is basically just created to control human beings.
Yeah, you're jumping
So
to
let
a
me give you an
different point.
analogy.
What's
I'll give you
wrong?
I'll give you an analogy.
Yeah, hold on.
No,
Hold on. I just need you to answer the question, man. What's wrong with only being moral because you don't want to go to hell?
Because it's disingenuous.
How's it
If
disingenuous?
you don't believe it yourself, if you don't do it out of your own willingness, you do it because
why-
somebody else tells you to do.
Yeah, why is that wrong?
That's
You're giving me a circular
because-
answer. Why is that wrong?
No, it's disingenuous. It's not
How?
who you really are.
How's it not who you really are? If I'm
Because you have something-
a person who doesn't commit crimes and doesn't do sin, then by definition, I'm a person who doesn't commit crimes and doesn't commit sin. That is who I am.
Exactly. Now you are agreeing with me.
No, I'm not
But
agreeing
if
with
you
you.
need something-
It doesn't matter the
Well,
reason
let me-
why I'm doing it. If I am a person, right?
Can I give you an analogy?
I'll give you an example. Here's an example. Whether I get jacked the natural way or I get jacked using steroids, I'm still a person that's jacked.
Okay.
Okay, so if I'm a
I
person,
understand
if I'm a
where you're
person
going.
who's moral because I just want to be moral, or I'm a person who's moral because I don't want to suffer consequence, I'm still a moral person.
At the end of the day, yes, you are.
Okay,
But the fact
so
is-
what's wrong with being moral because you don't want to go to hell?
I'm telling you, it's a way to control human beings. I wanted to give
That's
you an
a
analogy.
different
If you allow me-
argument. That's a different argument. What's wrong with
Can you
being
allow me to
moral
speak?
because you don't want to go to
Control them
hell?
into being nice.
Am I allowed to speak? Can I just give you
If
an
you would,
analogy that actually?
if you guys stick to a damn topic, I won't cut you off. But you guys make a point, say I'm right, and jump to a next topic. You need to substantiate your first point.
Okay. For the purpose of this argument, or for the purpose of this debate, I'm going to say you are right and move on to my second analogy because it looks like all right.
Okay, so just to
I'll
be
give
clear,
you an
just to be clear, we both agree that a moral person is moral regardless of their intent.
I guess you could say something like that.
Awesome. All right, what's your next point?
Okay. Second point. So it still stems from my first point, right? Let me give you an analogy.
It can't stem from your first point if you agreed with me, you dummy. You just agreed my point was correct. It can't stem from your first point. You just conceded the first point.
Mind your tone.
Don't tell me what to
Let's be
mind.
cordial.
You be that stupid? I treat you that stupid. You just literally told me. You know, shush, little Linda. Shush. You be quiet. You literally just told me I concede your point. You're right, John. And okay, what's your next argument? You're like, okay, now if we go off my first point, you dishonest little baboon. God bless. I love you.
Okay.
Make sure that you write more
Inshallah.
often, okay?
Okay. Can I give now?
No. That one made me angry. That one made me angry. What? Why was I live restricted? Harassment and bullying? Calm down. Oh my God.
Y'all are really sensitive.
You guys are way too sensitive. Way too sensitive. Oh no, he's got a little loud and said some mean things. So let's ban him. My goodness gracious. He spent the whole time saying, I concede your point. You are right on this point. And then I even clarified. I was like, okay, so we both agree on this perspective. And then the next thing that comes out of his mouth, well, if we continue off my first point, then no, you just conceded your first point. You don't have the first point anymore. All right, chat. I don't want to do any more. We've been going how long? 3 hours, 3.5 hours. So here's the deal. I'm going to stop unless we get the dono bar up to 400. And what do you think, Abby?
What?
We're at 421. What do you want to, how much more do we need to keep going?
I don't know. I do have to leave at some point.
What time do you want to leave?
I got plans.
So how much is it worth for you being late for your plans?
I can't be late.
How much is it worth to be slightly behind to you?
I don't know.
Give a number, Abby.
Decide.
I can't decide. You're the one who has to go. I don't have to go anywhere.
I stay till like 5:30. That's only 20 minutes.
Okay, how much for you to stay till 5:30?
I don't know.
My God, pick a number.
No, you do it.
No, you pick a number.
you.
No, you.
No, you.
No, you. Pick a number. Look these people in the eyes and tell them this is how much money we need to keep going for maybe one or two more.
One more?
One or two more, depending on what the conversation is.
I don't know.
Pick a
What's it
number,
at?
Abby.
Make it a 450
$30
for one conversation.
Cheapo. Wow.
That's why I told you to pick a number.
Fine. She says $30. We get an extra $30. We'll do one more. We'll do one more.
Don't ask me to do things and then get mad when I do them.
Hey, listen, I can get attitude about it. I'm still accepting your ruling. Doesn't mean I have to like it.
Houdini.
There we go. Thank you.
Now you got to do two more.
No, that wasn't the deal. All right. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Oh, I'm sorry, I accidentally joined. I was just watching this. Can I say something real quick?
No, you sound
but
like
I
you're
appreciate you. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
Yeah, I just want to tell you that I like the way you conduct your interview.
Thanks, but you didn't tell me how old you were.
Oh, no, I'm 50. I'm 58.
All right, can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
Never. I just come to just.
Thanks. I do appreciate the kind word, guys, but you guys can text out the kind words, right? I do appreciate it, but we want to keep it open for the disagreeers. It does say no Christians on the chat. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
You got some crazy background noise, man. It sounds like you're being attacked by crickets, or you're part of a SCP foundation, or what's going on there?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like
All right, well, that's it. I can't. Yeah, I can't do that. All right.
Like squealing.
It's a loud squealing sound. Yeah. Uh-oh, we might have gone through a whole queue. A person might have spent money for nothing.
We'll give it back to you, Houdini.
I mean, we would. Oh, and that person just connected, and I disconnected them as soon as they connected. Come back, man. Come back. I'm sorry.
We need you.
We need you. I don't want it back. You're getting it back anyways. We'll find you. I have a particular set of skills. All right, is this person going to come back? Says live access needed to join the live as a guest. This is true, yeah. Do you want to join? Can I send an invite? No, I can't. You say me, but you didn't click the join button. What's the girl doing in the back? Just being cute? Oh, and that person just left as soon as they joined. Mm-hmm. Why do I have this prompt up? Because people just say, hey, you're wrong, but can never actually provide an argument why we should disregard Christianity. Seems like you'll never change your minds. That's such a stupid thing. Yeah, of course. That's why the prompt's up, because I don't think people can convince me Christianity is false. Yeah. That doesn't mean I'm not willing to. I just don't think it's possible. Those are two different things. Okay, hold on. Give this guy a chance to connect. There we go. All right, Matt. Hello, how are you? And just real quick, how old are you?
I'm 31.
You're so quiet. All right. Can you convince me to stop worshiping Jesus?
I can certainly try. Thanks for picking up the phone. So first, can you hear me?
I can, but you got a weird burping sound, but we'll make do if we have to.
Okay. So just to get on the same page, can you explain to me real quick why you worship Jesus?
No.
Most Christians have some sort of like testimony or reason.
Yeah. No, the answer is no.
You won't answer. Okay, so I'm going to assume, and you just tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to assume that you worship Jesus because of reason.
Yeah,
like you come at it from
okay. So here's the thing. I'm going to show you something. I sneezed in the mirror, and I saw a picture of Jesus' face after sneezing in the mirror, and I concluded that Jesus Christ was real and the one true God from that. Why should I stop worshiping him?
Okay, if that is the real reason that you believe in Jesus, it's I would argue that anecdotal evidence is something that a lot of people in a lot of different religions share. So it's not really evidence to suggest that you should believe in any
I would agree. I don't have a justification for it 100%. But again, that doesn't answer the question why I should stop, because I could be wrong in the method on why I came to my conclusion, but that doesn't mean that the conclusion is false.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair. Okay, so my main argument stems from the notion that Jesus did not fulfill the prophecies that are set forth for the Messiah to fulfill in the Old Testament.
Okay, so for that to be true, you need to provide me an exhaustive methodology on what prophecy is and how it works. Because if we work backwards, and it is true that Jesus Christ died on the cross and resurrected, then typology prophecy is a factual prophecy, and you can't deny it.
Okay, I'm gonna continue, because even though some of those words I didn't understand.
Yeah, that's ask clarifying, right? So I'm more than happy to explain. So if it's true the case, this is a material implication. So it's an if-then statement. If it is the case that Jesus Christ died on the cross and resurrected, and the authors of the New Testament are honest and trustworthy people, then it's also true that when they're performing a type of interpretation of the prophecy, which is called typology, which is not saying that prophecy is God says therefore, it's more along the lines of God has shown the future in the nature of the past. So a good example of this would be the sacrificial ram for Isaac that was put in replace for him on the mountain, right? There is definitely a type of symmetry between that and Jesus being the sacrificial lamb. Or for example, when Moses put up the snake when Moses put up the snake for Israel to look upon, their sins were forgiven for simply looking upon it. This is also another typology when we look at this. So there's a whole bunch of problems with prophecy. For once, you need to confirm if it's a conditional prophecy. You have to have an exhaustive account on why a prophecy would be confirmed, and you need a methodology to confirm which prophecy is and what they are doing. I think prophecy is very problematic. I think Christians trying to use prophecy to confirm the scripture is problematic just as much as people trying to use it to debunk the scripture.
Well, I would say that the prophecy is the basis for both Jewish and Christian interpretations of what the Messiah and the end times and all that stuff would look like in the first place.
Right.
So
I agree. That's what I'm saying. We have Matthew, for example, who is a Jew, and he sees Jesus fulfilling these typology prophecies. That's why I'm saying you need a methodology to say that he was wrong in his interpretation.
Well, what kind of typology prophecies did he see him fulfilling?
So, for example, like Isaiah 42 or Jonah and the whale, right? Like where he sees Jonah spends 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the beast. So does Jesus spend 3 days or 3 nights in the earth and only to rise again. So these are typologies. As he's looking at that, he sees Jonah as well as he sees Jesus. He sees the one crying out in the wilderness. That's Jesus to come. And John is the one calling out for him. Like if you read Matthew, the scholarly consensus is Matthew is trying to show Jesus is fulfilling prophecy through the Old Testament, and John also does that quite a bit as well. So you need to provide an argument why your methodology in determining prophecy is better than John and Matthew's.
Well, so if you want to just, can I hone in on Isaiah 43 real quick? You mentioned Isaiah 43.
No, I think it was Isaiah 42. Or anyways, one of the Isaiah verses where he says the one crying out in the wilderness.
42 and 43 are, I mean,
Micah.
they're all a part of the servant songs, and that was an example of I would say that consensus dictates that Isaiah is prophetic, and it in Isaiah in many parts does talk about the Messiah specifically.
So again, how do you know that the servant is just only Israel and it's not a typology for Jesus as well?
Because God says so in Isaiah. He says, "You Israel are my servant."
Again, what is a typology? I've already explained this to you.
I understand. I'm really don't understand typology. I don't understand what that means.
Typology.
I know that there are prophecies and. Go ahead.
Yeah. Typology means that there is a correlation between event and Jesus, right? He said, I came to fulfill the law and the prophets, right? That they all spoke of him coming forward. So when we're talking about a typology, an example of that is when they hold up the snake and everybody looks upon the snake and they're healed of their sins. And then they also hold up Jesus and everybody looks upon Jesus and they're healed of their sins. When you read Moses holding up the snake, you wouldn't say that Moses is committing prophecy in this situation, unless typology is true. If typology is true, then he is performing prophecy. So when we're reading Isaiah, right? The Jewish idea behind this is that the servant was Israel, which I think is problematic because it says that that servant is going to die, that servant's going to suffer, that servant's going to rise. There's a whole bunch of problems. Servant's going to have a name, right? That servant will have everything rest upon his shoulders. I think there's problems in saying that's just about the nation. But even if it is just about the nation, you need to provide an argument why there's not a typology that's being presented there as well.
Well, I would say that just because I think what you're explaining there sounds like maybe like dual prophecy, like it can be both.
No,
it doesn't have to just be one or the other.
No, it's not a dual prophecy. It's Israel will do these things is an example of Jesus, a showing of Jesus. Typology is like it's being shown. It's not being said. It's being shown in the nature.
It just sounds like you're like retconning. You're saying, well, these things happened and it looks like Jesus, so it must be Jesus. But again, that's not evidence of
I really wish people listened to the start of my conversation. Yes, I am moving backwards. That was the basis of my argument. Because if it is the case that Jesus Christ died and resurrected on the cross, if that is true, remember it was a material implication. If it was then I have good reason to believe Matthew and John were the performing typological prophecies.
Okay, so if I concede that still doesn't explain why Jesus has not fulfilled all of the prophecies that the Messiah will fulfill.
Yeah, because we believe in a second coming.
Okay, and that's totally fine. However, until that second coming happens, he is by definition not the Messiah, because the Messiah does certain things.
Okay, show me anywhere in the scripture where it says Jesus to be the Messiah, you must fulfill all prophecy at one time.
Oh no, I'm not saying it has to happen all at one time.
That's literally what you said. You said until Jesus fulfilled all the prophecy is not the Messiah. That's what you said.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing as saying until until he resurrects. We can take a non-Jesus figure, right? Like another first century example of somebody who was in everybody.
So I'm going to show you the silliness of that argument. So one prophecy, right? That is a prophecy that happens in the Old Testament is that the Messiah is going to come into Jerusalem on an ass, right? So if Jesus was the Messiah and he's sitting outside of Jerusalem on the ass, he hasn't entered Jerusalem yet, is he not the Messiah until he walks through the gates of Jerusalem?
I would counter that by saying, is every person that
you don't need to count. You can't counter a question. You need to answer the question.
Okay. So I would say that in that instance, if he were the Messiah, then no, he's not the Messiah until he fulfills that prophecy.
Okay, so you do not become the Messiah until all prophecy is fulfilled. So the Messiah who comes, who's now starting to fulfill prophecy, and he's doing it, he doesn't actually become anointed until all prophecy is completed?
He is not recognized as such until all
That's
those
not the
things are
question I
complete.
asked
What
you.
is the difference?
Why are you changing the question I asked you? I didn't
I don't
ask if he
believe
was
I am.
recognized as
Explain
such.
how I
I'm
am.
asking if he was.
So I think that the disconnect is the fact that
Can you please
whether or
answer the
not
question?
he is the Messiah, as to whether or not he's the Messiah.
Okay, so your argument entails that if when the Messiah comes, whoever that figure may be, whether it's in the future, the past, whatever, right? So let's say it's not Jesus, he's going to come in the future. That person does not become Messiah, does not become anointed until they fulfill every prophecy.
He cannot be considered the Messiah.
I'm not
until those
asking if he's
prophecies are
considered Messiah. What's the question I asked you? Repeat it.
But your question is flawed. You're saying he.
I don't
must be
care
the
if it's
Messiah
flawed. Just
because-
repeat it. Repeat the question.
How do you not care if it's a flawed question? Why
Because
are
I
you
don't
asking
think
us
it's
a question
flawed.
if it's
I don't
flawed?
think you're listening to the question. I don't think you're willing to engage in good faith, right? For you to
No,
tell
no,
me it's
I
flawed, you must
absolutely
first
am.
steel man it. What's the steel man?
Okay, so I will posit that a Messiah figure can be the Messiah before the prophecies are fulfilled. I will accept that.
Okay, so if it is true that a Messiah figure can be the Messiah before all prophecies are fulfilled, what is the issue with the second coming?
So the issue with the second coming
Mhm.
is that until that second coming happens, there is no concrete evidence that is infallible. No. I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason that you're upset and putting your head in your hands is because there is evidence, because you look at the snake and you look at going on a donkey and you look at dying and resurrecting 3 days later, and yes, all of those things, let's assume that they happen, sure. However, we are given explicit instruction as to how to identify prophets and false prophets in the Bible, and one of those things is in Deuteronomy. Moses says there will be people that come and they tell you that they are prophets and they will do signs and wonders and they will perform miracles. However,
Yeah, so
the
I'm going
one
to
way
stop
that
you because you're not answering my question. I tried to listen to you. I gave you like the benefit of the doubt to see if you're answering my question. The question isn't on the data points. The question is on the epistemology. If it is the case that a Messiah figure can come before all prophecy is finished, what is the issue with the second coming? I'm not saying that he fulfilled all the prophecy, or there is evidence he fulfilled the prophecy, or that he is a prophet. I'm asking, what is issue in the epistemic standard of a second coming? Is there any issue with that?
But see, the reason I can't answer that question, even though I am trying to engage in good faith, is because you're asking the question knowing that he hasn't fulfilled the prophecies, and therefore.
Yes. We're getting an epistemic. Yes, we're not at the data point. Yes, I agree with you. There's an epistemic standard. You're trying to predict where I'm going instead of engaging in good faith. That's why it's bad. It's bad faith because you're trying to predict the end of the argument rather than engaging in the argument. So I'm not saying Jesus fulfilled the prophecies. I'm not saying there's a whole bunch of evidence. I'm not even saying he's a prophet. I am saying, is there an issue with somebody being the Messiah, leaving and coming back a second time and fulfilling the rest?
No.
No. Okay, great. So it can be the case that Jesus has fulfilled 50% of the prophecy, but not the other 50%. Yes.
Sure.
Okay. It took us, and I got to let you go in less than 5 minutes. It took us so long to get to that point. We both agree. Now we can go through the argument on how Jesus did not fulfill any prophecy.
Now, I'm not saying that he didn't fulfill any prophecy. You can take many historical figures and you can insert them into history and say, sure, they fulfilled a prophecy. There are tons of examples in the Old Testament.
So Jesus did fulfill prophecy.
No, I'm demonstrating that you do not have to be the Messiah to fulfill a prophecy. Cyrus fulfilled prophecies. He wasn't even Jewish. He wasn't. He was, but he was in Isaiah. He was the fulfillment of a prophecy.
Great. So then we have a problem. Like the start of the conversation, I said to you, I think it's hugely problematic to use prophecy to prove or disprove, and you just admitted that it's hugely problematic. You just admitted you could put anybody in that situation and make them fulfill prophecies.
Yeah. Yes. Of course.
Okay, so then using prophecies to argue either way is stupid, right?
But well, see, that's your premise. That's not something that I agree
No, you
with.
just said that. You just said you could put anybody there and they fulfill prophecies. You also said it is true that Jesus could fulfill some prophecies now and some prophecies later. So you admitted that this is a non sequitur. It doesn't get us anywhere.
It does get it, because the prophecy is the whole reason that the idea of Messiah exists. Where in the Old Testament does it talk about a Messiah in the likes of which we think about when we think of Jesus?
Works for me, but not for thee.
I don't understand.
I don't understand. What? Okay, let's try again. What's the arguments?
So my argument is that Jesus did not fulfill the prophecies that are required.
But you
by
just
the
told me
Messiah.
he did.
Therefore,
You said you could put. You said you could put anybody in history and they would fill those prophecies. So then he did.
No, that's not what I said.
That's literally what you said. Word for word. You said you could take anybody from history and put him there.
Maybe I misspoke. Can I explain? Is it okay?
Did Jesus fulfill any of the prophecies?
What I meant when I
Answer the question. Did Jesus fulfill any of the prophecies?
You can look at any of those prophecies.
Did he or did he not fulfill any of the prophecies?
Which are esoteric and metaphorical, and you can take many historical figures and fit them in there.
Okay, so then yes.
So yes, in that.
So then he fulfilled the
regard,
prophecies. Yes. And it is true that Jesus could fulfill some prophecies now and wait until the second coming to do the rest. We already agreed with that. So where's your argument? What's your argument here? You can't say he didn't fulfill the prophecy when you just said he did fulfill the prophecy.
So with all of that being said, you are wanting me to tell you, or you're wanting people to say why you shouldn't worship Jesus. Okay. What I'm telling you is that you cannot make the claim that Jesus is the Messiah with absolute certainty.
Why can't I?
Without it just being because you're not certain. Because what if
yes,
he doesn't
I am.
come back? There's always a what else. What if?
I am certain. You know how I'm certain? Because he performed miracles and died and resurrected off the cross.
But I just told you 3 minutes ago that in Deuteronomy it says that there will be miracle workers and there will be prophets and they will be false prophets, and the way that you know that they are false prophets is they will lead you down a path that takes you away from my laws.
Yeah, and Jesus didn't lead us down a path that took us away from his laws. And who is the only person through the entire Old Testament who has authority over life and death?
God.
There you go.
Okay. I don't understand what that means.
Jesus has authority over life and death. God has authority over life and death. You said we have to use the Old Testament to understand this. Jesus doesn't drive us away from Yahweh of the Old Testament. His goal is to drive us closer to him, right? He fulfills prophecy. You already admitted that. And he has the same authority of God. So again, why should I reject him as this Messiah?
So let me ask you this. Do you abide by the law of Moses?
I swear I would aggressively hug you right now. Can you answer my question?
Okay. Ask the question again.
No, appreciate you.
So you won't tell me whether
Where's
or
my
not
mouse?
you abide by the Torah.
It's like pulling teeth.
That was rough.
All right, my wife's got to go, so I'll do a quick prayer, then we'll hang out on YouTube, and she can leave. And
you don't want me to do that?
Huh?
I gotta do the timestamps.
You could do it later if you want, or you can skip them. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But I need to hang out with the chat for like 5-10 minutes, whatever.
That's good.
Okay. Our Father is in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts as we also forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Lord, you are good in everything that you do. Thank you for these conversations, even though they can be struggling. If I've acted out of pocket, forgive me and help me put me back on the right path. But if those that come against us, Lord, are wrong, correct them and put them back on the right path. Help us have strength in our faith and understand who you are, and forgive us of our sins as we move forward. And give us opportunity to share the gospels, and I'm all over the place. You are good. I am not. In Jesus' name, amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. All right, guys, if you want to hang out, you can hang out on YouTube at Big John Steele. We'll do like 2 or 3 more minutes, and then we're going to go. And if not, we'll see you all next time. We'll be live on a Monday. And make sure if you want to support the channel, you can support us at bigjohnsteele.com. that helps this channel go and continue to move forward. God bless and have yourself a great day. I get so frustrated when people try to predict where I'm going and talking, and then they're trying to predict and they're answering questions that they think I'm going to ask way down the road. That drives me so nuts. So nuts.
Yeah.
I called him I said he was a baboon.
It's the same.
What's wrong with calling somebody a baboon?
People take it the same way.
In what way? I'm so confused with this world. I need a list of words I'm not allowed to say on the side of the screen. Can't say baboon, can't say the R word, can't say the N word. I'm just joking.
John doesn't say that.
I don't say the N word. That's actually a word I refuse to say. Yeah, no, I don't get it. People are soft. Yeah, it's crazy. Need a whole bunch of words up there. Anyways, I got to use the washroom anyways, so I might as well just go. But I do appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out today and being part of this live. Appreciate everybody supporting and keeping this channel going. Gabe for just being an awesome mod in the chat. And make sure you join the Discord, join the website. Pray for us. We'll pray for you. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.